Pacific, a team that always brings out the fire in Hawaii's eyes. Both schools have been tremendously successful through the years and have consistently been among the top 5 teams in the nation at season's end. It is this winning form, this ability to accomplish greatness, that makes every Wahine Tiger confrontation more often than not a classic. This has been documented with unforgettable matches between the Aggies, the Odins, the Scotlands, and the William Sanders. Here we go. Pacific setting it up. McGrath blocked. And it's over. And tonight should be no different. All-Americans Melanie Beckenhauer-Heller and Sherry Boyer hope to continue the tradition and exhilaration a Pacific-Hawaii encounter provides. Gym on the campus of the University of Hawaii at Manoa, KHNL presents a Big West Conference clash between the 4th-ranked Rainbow Wahines and the 3rd-rated Tigers of the University of Pacific. In the world of sports, the term classic rivalry is often overused. Tonight is a classic rivalry. How you doing, everybody? John Fink and Chris McLaughlin. Chris, there's no question about it. It doesn't get any better than Hawaii against Pacific. The Pacific Tigers, a very tough squad on the road. They've lost 1 match in 2 years on the road.
They're a veteran team, John. John Dunning says he likes his team better than any team he's had since 1985 and 86. They really rally well. They're experienced. They're calm and cool and collected, and they come out swinging.
Pacific played a tough match against Santa Barbara last week. Hawaii has won 14 in a row, and they've done it with relatively simple wins, even on the road and back here at Klum. What do you look for in tonight's match, Chris?
Well, I look for a lot of great matchups. We'll talk about those a little bit later, but I also look for long rallies tonight. Both great defensive teams, both great blocking teams.
Sit back and relax. The best in volleyball coming up next.
Great teams are. You see their win-loss records similar. Their win streaks are similar. Road matches, their games against the top 20. One is 4-3, the other 4-2. Game records, very even. Boy, these two teams are very close, and their hitters are very close as well. Notice both teams rely on 3 people to do about 53% of their attacks and their kills you've got right there. Boy, these two teams can't be much more evenly matched, John.
That's phenomenal. They have 3 players that have the exact amount percentage-wise of the total kills the teams have, and those are the 3 names you're going to depend on all night. And, of course, it's very important they get the ball well. John Dunning concerned about his passing and things of that nature, so it's going to be very key for these teams to come out strong. Dunning said, Chris, when they had trouble against Long Beach, what kept his team in the match was, as you said in our open, it's a very experienced squad, and they did not fold. They said, hey, they're going to get streaks. They're going to hang in there. This team has played at Klum before, and I think they'll be ready tonight to take on the Klum crowd. So we are ready for the Mauna Loa starting lineups. Here's Henry Yamamoto.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Klum Gym for tonight's match featuring the Tigers from the University of the Pacific and the University of Hawaii, Rainbow Wahines. First, introducing the starters for the Pacific Tigers. A 6'1" freshman from Örebro, Sweden, number 2, Charlotte Johansson. A 6'2" senior from Santa Barbara, California, number 4, Sharon Kasser. A 6-foot junior from Palatine, Illinois, number 9, Vicky Simones. A 6-foot senior from Los Altos, California, number 10, Melanie Beckenhauer-Heller. A 5'11" junior from Petaluma, California, number 12, Katie Eldridge. And a 5'9" senior from Mission Viejo, California, number 23, Heather Shaney. Assistant coaches Joe Wortman and Jane Gibson McHugh. The head coach, John Dunning. And now, introducing the starters for the University of Hawaii, Rainbow Wahines. A 5'8" sophomore from Albuquerque, New Mexico, number 1, Kenyatta Lovelace. A 5'10" freshman from Hilo, Hawaii, number 5, Jenny Wilton. A 6'1" senior from Vallentuna, Sweden, number 9, Malin Fransson. A 5'10" sophomore from Compton, California, number 16, Key Williams. A 6'1" senior from Poway, California, team co-captain, number 8, Sherry Boyer. And a 5'8" senior from Pearl City, Hawaii, team co-captain, number 14, Tony Nishida. Trainer, Melody Toth. Part-time assistant, Tino Reyes. Graduate assistant, Laura Phillips. The assistant coach, Howard Wallace. And the head coach, Dave Shuji.
Hawaii has the first serve. We'll be back to start our match right after this. Individual Mauna Loa matchups. Mauna Loa, all the goodness of Hawaii. Chris, what do you see?
Well, John, I can't tell you how excited I am to watch two of the best setters in the country go at it tonight. Great matchup between Melanie Beckenhauer-Heller, probably be a first-team All-American this year, and Sherry Boyer, maybe a second-team All-American. The other great matchup is Sharon Kasser and Key Williams, two of the best blockers in the country. And I think that how many blocks those two people get is going to be a key factor tonight. Finally, will the freshman wilt? Will Jenny Wilton wilt, or will she be awesome as usual? And how about Johansson from Pacific, another freshman, veteran off the Swedish national team, but she's a rookie to this kind of NC2A play and this kind of Klum gym.
You know, you think about boxing, you get two guys in a ring, and whoever ends up standing wins at the end. We got 6 players on the court. I think who's ever left standing could win this one. There are major implications in this matchup. Don't believe some of the hubbub. John Dunning saying, well, it's not as big as always. We'll tell you why later on. Hawaii with the first serve. And a dig by Nishida, and Key Williams pops it over, and here goes Pacific. That time Key Williams let Jenny Wilton try to make the save on the dig. I think Key might have had a chance for it, but it goes over to the Tigers. A sold-out Klum gym, as you might expect.
Oh, what a crowd of electricity in the air, oohs and ahs on every point. This place is just oozing with atmosphere right now.
Back to serve Vicky Simona. She's done a great job in the back row this year. She leads the team with 35 aces on that jump serve. Jenny Wilton tried to cut across court, so maybe getting some of those jitters out early, Chris.
Not a good set location that time by Boyer. She really trapped Jenny that time. Jenny didn't have much room to take a good swing at it. Simonis is one of the better jump serves in the country. Shows her signs of nervousness right there. Normally she gets that ball in, 6, 7, 8 times out of 9. She's very high percentage jump server.
She leads the team in aces. And now Pacific in their passing game, which John Kasser was concerned about. And Wilton goes long with her second opportunity. Strike 2 for Jenny Wilton. Charlotte Johansson. She has Americanized it from Johansson to Johansson. Not a good pass and a tough set, and Wilton is dug.
John, I got the feel that Sherry Boyer was not happy with her first few sets that she gave to Jenny Wilton, and she more than made it up for it right there with that stuffed block on Katie Eldridge.
She is raring to go tonight. She's not felt great about the season she's had, and there's a kill. 1-1.
Now Boyer's starting to settle down. She knows she's going to match up with Beckenhauer-Heller tonight, and here's one of the matchups right there. They both have great dump shots. Boyer gets the first punch in.
Interesting numbers, Chris. Last year, as Pacific gets the side out, Beckenhauer-Heller, there she goes back to serve, had 8 kills and no errors when they beat Hawaii 3-2. Even when they lost to Hawaii, she had 360. So she is not only a great setter and a good blocker, she can drive you crazy with those dump shots of her own.
Kenyatta now in the front row. Let's see what she does her first time out. Puts it down.
Took something off it. There you see John Dunning, man who started out with 2 national championships in his first 2 seasons at Pacific.
John, Kenyatta did not take something off it there. She swung as hard as she could and flat out missed it. Great miss, though. She got a kill.
I was being kind. She took something off it by mistake. Here's Lovelace. That time she hits it.
Better set location this time by Boris. She pushes it all the way out to the antenna, giving Kenyatta a chance to hit that line that she likes so much.
Net violation also called on Pacific, but give Lovelace credit. Good hit that time. Ball hit long by Heather Sheeny, and it's 3-1 Wahines.
Now, John Dunning said that Heather Sheeny had the greatest week of her Pacific career last week. Big West co-player of the week with Julie Pitois from the University of California, Santa Barbara. And there is a service ace from an unlikely character. Key Williams normally comes out of the game at this time. Dave shows you saying, hey, Key, we'll give you a chance to stay in. And what she does, she responds with an ace right there. Miley Golden not coming in for Key. A little bit of strategy already going on between one of the chess masters. Dave showed you.
That time Key comes up, can't make the save, going for the dig, and it goes back over to Pacific. Williams hits the floor hard.
Well, Dave might have been patting himself on the back for Key Williams' great ace, but here he's probably thinking, oh, I wish Miley were there. She might have got that. Key a little slow to get to that ball.
1 serving 4. We're in game 1. We'll play best 3 out of 5, and it may go that distance tonight. Katie Eldridge serving. Malin Franzen pops it up. She has been quiet so far. Nice dig by Eldridge. Brad anticipating a kill every time for Hawaii. But remember, Pacific a good defensive squad.
John, the minute that rally was over, Dunning jumped up off the bench, started exhorting his players and clapping, saying, hey, way to hang in there in that rally. That was just an all-American hit.
Heller falls, but she gets up, and here's a free ball for Hawaii. Lovelace.
The crowd loves it. Lovelace is on fire. She saw the seam in the block there and just ate up a very good Pacific block.
Oh, a good play that time by mistake. Simonis tips it. It rolls on the net past the block and over to the side.
Here we see a bump set by Beckenhauer Heller. Hawaii almost got it blocked right back over. Pacific lucky to get a side out there. There was not a crisp side out. I'm sure Dunning and Heller are not happy about that, the way they got that side out.
Sharon Kasser to serve, known as one of the better blockers in Pacific history. Net violation again. That time it was called against Johansson. And John Dunning is going, what, feet, hands? What'd she do? He can't believe it. He can't believe it. He kicks the ball across the court, and the crowd lets him know.
I'll tell you why Dunning's upset, John. It's on number 2, the net violation on number 2, Sharon Kasser, his best blocker. He's saying, boy, we're in trouble tonight. We're going to start calling her on nets because she hardly ever, I'm sorry, it was on Johansson.
I don't think she's done that too much this year. She's second on the team in blocking and hitting. And I think he's amazed that she could have a couple of those violations already.
That's the second best blocker, and he's wondering why my second best blocker's going to get called for nets all night. We're in trouble.
Beckenhauer tries to dump, and then Franzen tries it. That was a mistake up front by Malin. She had a free ball there, and she pushed it back over. And Heller's happy about the break.
We'll give credit to Pacific here in this close joust play. But here's their great coverage there. See the backcourt getting down low and digging it. Key Williams that time standing straight up. She bumped hers out. Notice the difference in the two types of coverage.
Tony Nishida shanks one. Points to Pacific.
Tony, normally a very good passer, having problems there with Heather Shaney's left-handed screwball.
There's a knuckler that time, and off the head of Sherry Boyer. That's an interesting attempt.
And Boyer actually is laughing about it. I mean, you rarely see that happen. She just passed right through the passing lane, did Boyer, and just got in the way and hit her in the head, and goes down as a service ace for Shaney.
4-5. Short set in the middle, Jenny Wilton.
You know, John, I can't tell you how versatile Jenny Wilton is. She was asked to middle block and hit out of the middle earlier this year. Did a good job of it, but Dave Shoji quickly said, hey, we got to get Key Williams in there, get Jenny to the outside. So Jenny said, sure, coach, I'll go to the outside. So Hawaii's former player of the year moved to the outside, only in that particular play to come back to the middle. Very difficult to do. She's a versatile athlete.
5-4 Hawaii. Simone is off the block. Good pass from Nishida. Back set to Bronson. She's roof. It goes out. She was blocked and it was out. Let's watch it. Oh, it's a net violation, Chris. That ball landed obviously in the court, but a net violation again on Johansson.
It's 3 net violations already on her. John Dunning's got to be concerned about that.
I mean, the referee has his hand on the net. If he should question anything, it should be Johansson's positioning at this point. It's 3 times. Nishida, good call. Keeps Lovelace away from it. Inside the light fixtures and still alive. Look at this rally going on. Key Williams, tough timing on that leap. It rolls on the net and falls on the rainbow side Pacific ball.
I don't know if I've ever seen the Klum crowd more into a match, John. Every single play they're oohing and awing on, loving Jenny Wilton taking a hard swing at that ball in the middle of the rally, loving every dig, every set. They're living every moment out here. It really is electric. It's fun to be here and be a part of this whole thing. I'll tell you, everybody seems like they're pumped up for this game as if it's a Miami, Florida State football game.
This is much better. You can see the faces on these gals. Key Williams. So Simone has served it out. Now Key Williams gets it back and a point for Hawaii.
I'm surprised that Sherry Boyer has taken this long to get Key Williams involved in the game. That was her first set. He puts it down, but I fully expected Key to be involved a lot sooner. I'm sure she'll get more than her share of sets. Great diving save by Nishida.
And a lift is called on the set that time. And Dunning off the bench says, that's what I saw. John Dunning always has to have a redhead on his team to match his hair.
Now.
No, he said, you know, he's got Heather Shaney, he had Chrissy Pfeiffer. He is a fiery coach. You know, he's a quiet guy when you talk to him, a very pleasant guy. Always good to talk to. He's real straightforward. Not a cliche coach. That violation on Hawaii that time on the follow-through on the swing. No, it's against Pacific again.
Sharon Kasser that time into the net.
Chris, something interesting. None of the Pacific players has questioned any of the net violation calls, and I think if they thought they hadn't hit the net, they would be asking more.
That's true. Most players will usually turn and say, which part of my body did I get it with, if they in fact have a question.
Still alive, but it's a free ball. Nishida, the good pass. Chris, Kenyatta Lovelace hit that ball so hard, it took the net with it, and it rolled over.
It really did. Powerful. Here's the first tip shot right there. There's a pop-up. 1, 2, and the next one goes over. Here we see a free ball play with Nishida passing it perfectly. Step-out move by Key Williams. Forced Kasser there to be late on the block. Kenyatta Lovelace saw the hole in the block and got lucky and it got over. She got a lucky cable there.
8-4. Outside. Oh, Nishida with a great dig again. And then Lovelace. Shades of 1990 for Lovelace there. She couldn't do anything with it, Chris. She should have just popped it over, and instead she hits it into the net. And she knows.
I really think that Nishida should hit that last ball. Nishida had made a great dig. She was pumped up. I think she should have took a good swing right out of the back row there.
The pass from Tony Boyer comes all the way over, and here's Lovelace. And a chance for the Tigers, and they take advantage. Easy kill for Sharon Kasser. Remember, at the end of tonight's competition, Chris and I will select our GTE Hawaiian Tall players of the match.
Oh, what a great connection play there between Keller and Kasser. That was a sweet little transition play.
All served out. GTE Hawaiian Tell will then make a contribution to the fund of the University of Hawaii in the name of those players who go beyond the call. Probably will not be an easy choice in this match tonight to pick just 2 players.
Now we see the young lady, great athlete out of Waimea, Kauai. What happened there was Miley didn't like the toss she had, so she just let go. But had she caught it, it would have been a violation. But she let it drop to the ground. She got a retoss.
Again, Pacific keeping it alive.
Nishida pumped up tonight. Knows she has to play well at the net. Knows she's got to be an established force in that middle attack. Gets a nice kill right down the middle.
9-5 Hawaii. John Dunning calls his first timeout. He's to the game, Chris.
Well, first of all, Pacific has got to block Hawaii if they're going to have a chance in this game. Hawaii's a great blocking team. Pacific needs to crank their blocking up a notch. They've got a big lineup, and it's very important that they especially take away the key attackers like Kenyatta Lovelace. Secondly, Hawaii, in order to beat that big Pacific block, is, I think, got to pick up the tempo a little bit. Sherry Boyer's got to look to set the middle of it a little bit. She's already done that well with Nishida and Key Williams already, so I think that tempo is going to be a big factor. And finally, the setting matchup between two of the best, Marino versus Montana. This is like the Ali versus Frazier. We're talking two great setters, maybe the two best in the country in the collegiate division, Melanie Beckenhauer-Heller and Sherry Boyer. Fans are really in for a treat to watch that matchup tonight.
Ali Frazier? Wow. Stretching. Miley Golden serving. Hawaii lead 9-5. Dug by Bronson, but it goes over. Beckenhauer-Heller outside. Off the block, off the dig attempt by Walton, and back over, and that's exactly why you call timeouts, to stop the momentum. Katie Eldridge back to serve. Last year against Hawaii, Chris, in 2 nights she had 39 digs. That's 5 a game. She went wild playing defense against Hawaii last year up in Stockton. Nishida off the block. It hits the antenna off of Pacific, and so it's back over to Hawaii. And wouldn't it be a big night for Hawaii if Tony Nishida could hit over 200 or 300? She's been down about 160, 170 all year long.
Already she's got 2 good kills, and she's keeping that Pacific block honest. They're staying with her.
Good serve by Boyer. And a nice hit from the lefty, Heather Cheney, one of the tri-captains.
It's always great to have a lefty hitting on the right side here. She goes right between the block, puts it down. Boy, she's one that's really overcome a lot of adversity. She's had a couple of knee surgeries. She's had 4 or 5 concussions. She's had to battle for a spot. Finally, she won a spot this year after getting beaten out by Devin Scruggs last year. So Heather's really happy to be on the floor this year.
Jenny Wilton on the floor with a dig. Lovelace saves it, and Boyer tips it over. Oh, a great pass that time from Heller, and there's Lovelace up in the crowd. Pacific knocking into each other. Simonis tips it over, and now it's chance for the Wahines. And Boyer whips. You know, I think Sherry Boyer said to herself, now we have a chance, and the crowd appreciates the effort, but she just whipped.
They do. I'll tell you, we haven't seen that happen to Sherry Boyer in probably a year and a half. But here the ball gets wet on this great hustle by Lovelace. We saw the middle of the play there. The end of the play was where the ball went through Boyer's hands.
Hawaii calls timeout on the ace serve by Carol Conti. Their back row specialist. Pacific now makes it 7 series record. Hawaii leads the all-time series 24-19. Last year, Hawaii beat Pacific 3 straight to clinch the Big West title. And the next night, Pacific came back after trailing 2-1 to win 3-2. Try high-quality Chevron gasolines with the cleansing power of Techroline. This series is a great one. For years and years and years, these teams have been battling each other in the conference and in regional play. So it's 7-9. Carol Conti back to serve. She is a back row specialist who gets about a dig a game, but comes in and does what Miley Golden does for Hawaii. Makes some good digs. Bronson pops it up. Lovelace goes cross court, and free ball for Beckenhauer-Heller. Nice dig by Nishida. There's some back row miscommunication as Conti and Eldridge, I got it, you take it. It goes right between them, and Hawaii gets it back. Lovelace hitting that ball with such force, Chris. It barely tipped off the blocker, and it was going deep, but Conti or Eldridge could have made a play. Blocked but out as 3 Hawaii players at the net. The big Klum wall that time. To no avail. Cheney back to serve. 7-9. Nice play. Nishida comes up. New wrinkle in the offense from the outside. Nishida comes up and makes the play. And checking in Key Williams goes up front. Miley Golden takes a break.
Well, Tony Nishida loving to hit from the right side here. Remember, she's always said, oh, I would love to hit outside again. I feel so small in the middle and so overmatched. Well, she's gotten 3 kills already tonight. 2 on the right side and 1 out of the middle. As we see an incredible dig by Kenyatta Lovelace to keep this rally alive.
Jenny Wilton running up, tough angle, popped over, and 2 Hawaii players. You got to love the hustle, though. Hawaii players early in the season, everybody would watch that ball and go, you get it. And now they're all going for it.
What a heady play this time by Melanie Beckenhauer-Heller. That's one of the reasons that she is an All-American. She studies teams on film all the time. She looks at all the other center blockers and figures out how she can deceive them. John Dunning says she may be the most studious setter he's ever had. Very cerebral.
She steals our tapes?
I think so. She may have a satellite dish. I don't know. All I know, she's a student of the game.
Well, she killed Hawaii last year, too. She's a sports medicine major. She married UOP basketball player PJ Heller.
Baseball player, I
Baseball
believe.
player, I'm sorry, about 3 months ago. And she comes from a good family of setters. Her sister was an All-American setter at Washington. And now Pacific is serving to tie up our match. It is 8-9.
This is the rotation Hawaii had trouble with at the beginning of the game, remember. And Wilton had trouble getting it down from the outside. Again, she's struggling just a little, keeping the ball in play nicely, but not getting the side out.
Big hit by Eldridge as she had the block right in front of her, and she just angled it perfectly, Chris.
Now, this is just one great play. Look at this. She's got not very much room right there. In fact, Key Williams didn't even go up to block because she thought it was going to hit the antenna. I'll tell you, had she gone up to block, it would have been easy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you got to at least go up. If it doesn't come to you, fine. But Key Williams, you're right, caught flat-footed, goes right over her head. Owie. She says, owie.
Now Sherry Boyer's getting Key Williams involved in the game. That's only her 3rd set tonight. She's got 3 kills, hitting 1,000.
9-9, a very poised Pacific team coming all the way back to tie things up. Big hit that time. Katie Eldridge through the Hawaii block. Side out for the Tigers.
Katie Eldridge, a great all-around athlete. She jumps higher than anybody else on the team. She touches 10-2. Katie Eldridge, number 12.
Charlotte Johansson to serve from Sweden. Jenny Wilton not getting sets close enough to the net at this point to do much with them. And Key Williams off the block. Tried to push it over on her way down. She probably should have waited and just popped it back up for a teammate. 9-10 or 10-9 Pacific serving.
Watch for Dave Shoji to call a timeout if Hawaii can't get a side out here. Oh, great pass by Wilton.
Off the block, he goes for a substitution instead. He's taking Wilton out. She's had some trouble, Chris. I don't think that ball cleared the tape. It might not have even been blocked. But anyway, he's taking her out, and here comes Crystal Atwood.
Okay, Jenny's taking some good swings at the ball. She's going up against a very good block. And there's 2 blockers up there all the time. Hawaii needs to be quicker, as I said earlier, in the keys of the game. They need to be quicker up front.
There's a miss from Sharon Kasser, and it goes back over to Hawaii. Yeah, a couple of those sets have been about 8 feet deep, and Wilton really couldn't do that much. One of them she hit out, trying to do something with it, and the other one she hit right into the blocker when it was too close to the net, which you mentioned. So she may be suffering a little bit of frustration here. So she'll catch a breather, see what Atwood can do. And now Shota checks in the back row for Atwood. Miss hit that time, a rare mistake by Beckenhauer-Heller. It's 10-11. All-time Pacific setting leader. Sherry Boyer, number 2 all-time behind Sincerova at UH. Kasser, smart play, keeps it alive. Outside, and a net violation called against Hawaii that time. I believe it might have been called on Kenyatta Lovelace, and it goes back over to Pacific.
Kenyatta went up to stop the quick hitter and got caught up in the net. Had she not been in the net there, the Pacific player Eldridge that time hit the ball into the antenna.
Shota. He off the block, going, gone. And now Hawaii with the all-defensive lineup as Miley Golden checks in the back row. So the chess game continues with the 2 coaches, Shota and Golden, in the back.
I think Dave Shoji's strategy of having Golden and Shota in at the end of the game is going to work out to be in his favor.
Well, the end of the game could be a long way off the way these teams side out. 11-11.
Boyer with a nice set to the outside. Kenyatta going up against two blockers there, but somehow manages to find a way through both of them. That's a big block she's going up against, by the way, John. 6'2" and 6'1", Kastner and Eldridge.
Malin Franzen could not get up in time. Again, we have not called Malin's name much. The expectations were that she had slowed down somewhat, hitting-wise and just being the team leader against some of the mediocre teams. And your impression was she shines against the big teams. Well, tonight's her opportunity.
I really think she will. I think before the night's over, we'll be calling her name an awful lot more. But I think Boyer's really got to get the middle attackers involved in the offense to beat this big Pacific block.
Right now it's been all Lovelace, and that time Pacific equal to the task. They take a 12-11 lead.
Great set by Boyer. She gave Kenyatta a one-on-one on the outside. Kenyatta hits it into Shaney. If she gotten out of the way, the ball would have been out, Hawaii side out. Instead, Shaney gets a block solo.
Pacific scores here. Dave Shoji will undoubtedly call his second time out. Lovelace, nice play to keep that alive. They go back to Kenyatta. Didn't do much with it. Wide open that time. Lovelace went to the inside. A good pass by Beckenauer. Heller to the outside. A great play. It's 13-11. As we play the Aloha Ball contest sponsored by V-Ball Hawaii. Tonight, Mike Teramoto from Honolulu is playing the Aloha Ball contest. Now, in this game, if Hawaii scores the 15 points for Aloha Ball point, Mike will win a $50 gift certificate from V-Ball Hawaii. But right now, Pacific is serving at 13-11. And Miley Golden runs into Shota, and a free ball for Pacific. And Hawaii keeps it alive. So let's see what the Rainbow Wahines do. Big break for Hawaii, Chris. Is a bad pass in the first part, and Pacific had a chance to put it away. They could not. That time, Natasha Soltizik couldn't put it down, and Lovelace gets the kill.
Hawaii really got away with one there, John. Shota and Golden ran into each other. Unusual for the two back row players to do that. Pacific had a golden opportunity to get their 14th point and could not convert.
Up front tip by Miley Golden. Might have been tipped up front, too. Dave Shoji yelling to Lovelace he wants her to move. You can see that look on Shoji's face.
Here comes a back row specialist in for Pacific trying to pick up their 14th point. Carol Conti, local girl from Stockton, California.
Line drive serve goes out. So a big break for Hawaii, and checking back in is Brandy Brooks. Brandy Brooks and Crystal Atwood. Shoji going with the big front line this time. Kenyatta Lovelace will take a break. I think Dave Shoji wants to talk a little bit about the defense and the positioning out there. And he brings Brandy Brooks in to serve. Not an unusual move. Brooks has been serving better of late. And up front, Crystal Atwood. Hawaii trails 11-13.
Brooks just gets her first one in nice and easy. Pacific passes it very easily. Nice dig by Brooks in the back row. Already earning her keep.
Atwood off the block, not hard enough. Johnson hits it just long. They're looking for a tip. They won't get it. And Pacific will have a serve at 13-11.
Oh, that was close. I thought I saw a touch. Mullen took a good swing at the ball, but no touch, no way. Dunning a happy man. Referee tonight, John Zabriskie. Our umpire, Orlando Almarza.
Lift called against Hawaii and a mistake, and it's 14-11. Dave Shoji is not happy. He's yelling. You saw him walk right by the camera there. Lovelace comes back in. And one thing Shoji does not want at this point in the season is sloppy mental mistakes. If they get beaten because the other team outplays you, not because you make your own mistakes. Great dig by Pacific. Oh, they keep it alive. Atwood. Very clutch to come in like Crystal Atwood does, Chris, and get two big kills. She gets the side out back for the Wahines.
Great transition play by the Bows, too. They ran a double quick at Boyer, forcing Pacific's blockers to jump, leaving Crystal Atwood one-on-one on the outside. She picks up her second kill. Great play by Crystal, and great setting by Sherry Boyer.
Tony Nishida back to serve. Hawaii's got to get their serves, and now they need points, and they need them now. It's 11-14. That play speaks for himself, Beckenauer Heller, a brilliant dumper, but Key Williams is one of the best blockers in America.
Hey, Heller is one of the best dumpers in America. Let me tell you, I saw her match against Kentucky. I saw her do 7 in a row of those, and Kentucky never touched the ball.
Well, you know, it was almost inevitable. Hawaii has not had great serving in the latter part of this game, and that time, Yoshida puts it into the net. Real simple. You're down 12-14. You got to put it in, and now checking in the back row, Natasha Stoltizik. Hawaii's first service error, and comes at an inappropriate time, and Hawaii trying to stay alive with Atwood.
Boy, Boyer knows how to go for the hot hitter. Give her credit for that. I really thought she'd set Key Williams in the middle there. Instead, she chose to go to her hot hitter, Crystal Atwood, turning it on right now.
The only loss that Long Beach State has this year is to this Pacific squad. And they lost at home, and they lost in 5, and then Long Beach came up to Pacific and returned the favor. Williams and Boyer, it's 13-14. Here's the all-important point. This will send the game into overtime if Hawaii can get it. Malin Franzen, very dependable server, back for the Wahines. But first, John Dunning calls right here. Boyer and Williams with the big block. During the timeout, John Dunning telling his team passing is the key, and that was one of the things we mentioned early for Pacific. So Malin Franzen serving, trying to tie it up. Big, high, deep serve. Oh, what a play that time. Oh, Charlotte Johansson just dinked a ball right through the block to get it back for Pacific.
John Dunning said she is mature beyond her years. Only a freshman, but 9 years of volleyball for the junior national team.
She serves for the game right here. Hawaii trying to stay alive. Free ball, Williams.
There's one of the matchups we were talking about. Key Williams, a great middle attacker, and Sharon Kasser, a great blocker. The two of them went toe-to-toe right there. That time, Key Williams won the round.
And Key going off the block that time on the side. Earlier in the year, everything was in the middle. Shota goes wide. Hawaii trying to tie it again. Block. A bunch of Pacific players gather around outside. Shota. Oh, she hit it too far. And it lands out. Oh, a double mistake, Chris. And Dunning says hang in there because now it's tied up at 14-14. A rare error by Shota, compounded by an error by Pacific.
John, I'm in shock. Shota shanks went over the net, and Pacific and Hawaii, both who played so well tonight, now find themselves playing a game of who's going to make the worst error.
Oh, everybody going for the ball on the Hawaii side. Much confusion, and Pacific takes advantage. Once again in the back row, Pacific taking advantage. Hawaii had 2 players not hit it well, and then Lovelace and Boyer both not hitting it well over the net. And now Pacific serves, but remember, you have to win by 2 once you get to this point. So at 14-14, the floor wipers come out. Yeah, believe it or not, it's hot in Klum tonight. Dave showed you will eat most of that middle finger by the end of the evening, or that index finger. Beckenauer Heller in the back row, serving for Pacific. Boyer sets it over the net, and here's Pacific.
You know, just as soon as you want to be critical of Sherry Boyer for having a bad set, she turns right around and more than makes up for it with a huge block on the outside.
You know the sign of a great player, Chris. If one part of the game isn't working, you make up for it right away. And Sherry Boyer has been a great force with Key Williams so far at the net. Here's Golden now in the back row to serve. Yeah, another weird hit by Pacific, and it goes over. You know, sometimes you're so ready for the big set and the big kill. Mistakes like that will catch a defense unaware. You can't plan them, but it works.
Stephanie Shota usually picks that up, but again, it was an awkward play, and I know Sharon Kasser doesn't feel real good about it, except she did get the kill, but it certainly was not a smooth play.
That wasn't very smooth either. Katie Eldridge goes back to serve. Has 21 aces on the year, but she makes a mistake that time, and now Sherry Boyer looks over at assistant coach Howard Wallace. Gets her serve in. And it's shanked, and it's going to be a tough hit. It's hit long. So after Pacific had 3 chances to put game 1 away, here's Hawaii's first chance to put it away. Boyer studies the coaching staff. They'll tell her what spot on the floor they want it. She serves, and the crowd's going to tell you the story right here. Me and hurt my wrist and said that's what you call clutch play in the clutch by your back row specialist doing the job when they have to, and she's right about that, Chris.
She certainly is. Shota and Golden came in and did a marvelous job sparking this Rainbow team. But John, I'll tell you, you got to give credit to all 6 players who are out there on the floor. Everyone who contributed in game number 1 from start to finish. There's Melody, all Big West trainer. I think she's first team. I'm not sure.
Oh, potential All-American. I mean, she gives me those injury reports. I know you think I'm a medical expert, but she does help me with that stuff. So Hawaii wins first game 16-14. We take a look at the stats from game number 1 between these 2 powerhouses, and look at the hitting.
You know, John, the hitting looks like 302 to 206, but prior to that, prior to Pacific's last few balls they hit out, those stats were all much tighter. Again, these 2 teams very close. Look at, they each had 22 and 23 kills. That's very close. You see the digs, Hawaii out digging Pacific 32 to 20. Hawaii playing better. That's the back row specialist that Melody was talking about. The service aces, Pacific with 3, Hawaii with 1. Notice the blocks on both teams, 4 and 3. Again, that's going to be an important statistic as the night goes on, because both these teams have a chance to score quickly with their big blocks.
I'll tell you something amazing. Pacific has played 1 more game than Hawaii coming in, but coming into this game, Hawaii had 1,211 kills on the year, and Pacific had 1,215. I mean, we showed you the stat. These teams are really, really even. I mean, you've got players out here that may not be the #1 player in the country. You may not have an Oden out here this year, like a Bev Oden or somebody like that, or a Natalie Williams, but there are so many solid players here. I would hate to be on the committee that has to decide who makes first team Big West and who makes second team Big West from these teams.
That's right. Well, John, another thing came up in the stats, in the individual stats. Hawaii with Kenyatta Lovelace with 9 kills, Key Williams with 5. Pacific has players with 5, 4, 3, 3, 4. And I think that's going to make a difference. Beckenhauer-Heller is spreading her sets out. I don't think Hawaii can rely on Kenyatta and Key Williams to carry them all night long. I think Sherry Boyers have to start spreading it around a little bit.
Well, I think Malin Franson, as you mentioned, has got to get into it. You said you thought she would.
I think this is the game where Malin's got to get involved. And there's the first set goes to her. I think Boyer knows that too. Good move by Sherry.
This time Franson has to set it to Wilton, and she's roofed, but there's Lovelace with a nice dig. Outside again, Jenny.
Well, Franson didn't get her first kill, but she does get her first block right here. Nice step out move to the outside there. She took 1 smooth step, went straight up, turned her hands in. Great block by the young lady from Vallentuna, Sweden.
It was a break for Hawaii there that ball was headed down the line, because Key Williams was very slow getting up. You talk about 4 hands across. About 2.5 hands were up on that one. So Malin Franson getting up big. Again, a lot of wiping up on the floor, and our umpire goes out. Armolza goes out to check it because of the fact that you cannot do that as a stalling tactic, so he wants to make sure there is moisture on the floor. Of course, after 300 years in existence, there's always moisture on the floor of Klum. Hawaii 1-0. Not a good pass by the Tigers. Franson again with a back set. That time Jenny Wilton from about the 10-foot line.
Well, Jenny struggling on the outside, John, but I'll tell you, the set location has not been good either. Boyer's getting her too tight. Then that time she got her too far off the net. And I think she needs a steadier set, a more precise location.
Ball lands out. Key Williams off the net, not off the block. It goes wide. 1-1. Nishida Boyer on her knees outside to Wilton. Off the block, but kept alive. And there's Wilton and Williams. Nobody goes for the ball, and Shoji this time standing up and going, come on, let's go. Let's talk out there, but not yelling, you know. He just says, come on, all right, that's all right. Let's get back into it. And Wilton is dug again. Outside they go, and Shaney. Good dig by Boyer. Ball hit long that time. Katie Eldridge, a little bit too much on that ball. She hits it wide, and now checking in, Soltizik. She comes in, and Eldridge takes a break. Carol Conti with a pass. Jenny Wilton with a sigh of relief that time, Chris. She turned around to her teammates and said, come on, let's go. And she was talking to herself.
She was. High fives all around on the Rainbow bench. But Wilton, who's been struggling on the offensive end of the scale, comes back with a great defensive play that time. She and Key Williams teaming up for a big block. It's interesting tonight, Hawaii has not scored a lot of points on their block, John. They've had 3 or 4 points where they've gotten a side out, but they haven't been scoring them in bunches like they have this past 14-game win streak. They're up against a much better team than they've seen in about a month and a half. So that those blocking statistics have been a little bit deceptive, and they've gone up against lower-ranked teams.
But that's part of the Big West. I mean, you play the Cal Irvines, the Cal State Fullertons, the Utah States, and the New Mexico States, and oh yeah, you also play Pacific and Long Beach State. So hitting 300 against Pacific, that's about double what teams have hit against them so far this year. There's a kill for Wilton, and Hawaii gets it back. It's 2-2.
Well, give credit to Boyer. She keeps hammering away. There's 2 blockers go up with Key Williams in the middle, leading Wilton one-on-one. That time she converts. Notice how much more effective Jenny is when she's going up against just 1 blocker instead of 2.
Well, in Pacific guessing that time, Chris, I guess they figured Wilton had not been hitting that well, that Sherry might go like that to the middle. Simones gets it through the block. Vicky Simones. She is one of their spiritual leaders out there. You saw her jump right after that point. Conti checks out. Johansson checks in.
I asked Dunning to describe Simones. Number 9, he says, hey, she's tough. She's a fighter. She loves it when the going gets tough.
Key Williams, nice move across, away from the block. It goes back to Hawaii.
Looks to me like Key got away with one there. She looked like she stepped under the net. The ball must have hit the ground before she completed the play, though.
What a dig. What a dig by Simones. Now Hawaii, though, with a free ball.
We're talking Major League, heavy-duty, Division I heat that time from Kenyatta Lovelace. She just ripped it.
I don't think she let getting dig the first time. She pounded that one away. 3-2, Rainbow Wahines. No tip. That was not a great set. The only thing Simones could do was try to slide it off of Boyer, and she was unable to. It's 4-2 Hawaii. John Fink and Chris McLaughlin, glad you could join us. Great weekend of sports here on KHNL. Volleyball, football, and then more volleyball tomorrow night.
Notice Key Williams staying in the back row again early here in game number 2, just as she did in game 1. Dave Shoji knows he's going to be going toe-to-toe, long rallies, long game. He doesn't want to run out of substitutions at the end of the game. Remember, each player can enter the game 3 times.
And if you start, that counts once, and Key Williams usually on the floor at the beginning, so she can only come out twice. So if you use her up at the beginning and it gets tight at the end, you need some defense. And look what happened last game, Chris. He brought the back row specialist in, and it won the game.
It worked.
Jenny Wilton on her knees to make that pass. Lovelace over the top, but right there is Shaney. Smart play by Heather. 4-4. Pacific comes right back, and Shoda's now going to come in. So after that whole long lecture, they take out Jenny Wilton in the back. Hawaii already in game 1 going extensively to their bench, Chris. Everybody who we expected to see at some point tonight was in game 1, except for maybe Carrie Anderson. Brooks was in, Shoda was in, Golden was in, and Atwood was in. That's 10 of Hawaii's 12 players. Heather Brennan with the bad back will not see action tonight. So the only player who didn't see action yet is Carrie Anderson, the backup setter.
And she may see action if Sherry gets fired, but right now Sherry's playing well. They're respecting her dump shot. That time They had one person going up on Nishida, one on Boyer, and one on Lovelace. Kenyatta loves that.
Key Williams, chance to hit it over, and a mistake there by Key. You know, Chris, one of the things that had been mentioned, the coach is saying this doesn't have the luster because it looks like Long Beach State's going to win the Big West. Don't kid yourself. These are two top opponents, and there's a chance one of these teams could end up at number 2 or 1 in the country. And if Long Beach ends up at 1 or 2, one of those teams would move out of the region. We'll tell you more about that later, but anything you might have read that said this doesn't matter all that much is 100% wrong. And I asked the coaches about it, and they said, you know, you're right about that. This could have some major implications. So we'll tell you more about that as the night wears on. A big match, as always, in the Big West. And right now it's 5-4. Here's Simonis serving.
I think the fact that we have a packed house tonight, I'm not sure if you could squeeze another person in here with a shoehorn, John. That tells a little bit about how important this match is for the fans, if nobody else. I'll tell you, the two coaches are playing for real, and they're not taking this match lightly at all.
That ball passed too close to the net. Sherry Boyer can't get to it. 6-4. So Simonis, one of the great servers in the history of Pacific. She leads the team this year, and she's top 10 on their all-time list, and she gets herself a point there. Right back at Shota.
Notice that pass at the 12-foot line. Hawaii could not run the middle there. Takes them out of their quick offense. So Simonis' serve immediately changed Hawaii's offensive tempo. They had to go high and wide because of the bad pass. Malin Franzen with only 3 kills, John. That's surprising. She needs to be averaging 3 kills a game at least, preferably 4 or 5. But as long as they're hanging in there against Pacific and Sherry Boyer doesn't feel she needs her, then maybe she's not going to go to her. She only got 7 sets in game 1. And Lovelace got 17, and Jenny Wilton got 11.
Simonis misses on the dig. It's a point to the Wahines. 5-6.
Nice adjustment by Jenny Wilton. She's been cranking the ball down, trying to hammer it straight down. That time she hit a looper to the deep corner, caught Pacific off guard. Simonis got caught holding her hands up by her face there.
Kenyatta Lovelace serves it long. She's improved her serving quite a bit this year, but that one goes long for Kenyatta. Lovelace finished off the antenna. Dave Shoji yelling, says, come on, Sherry, because Kenyatta Lovelace pushed it up front. He thinks Boyer should have been quicker getting over to it. That was tough. You know, Lovelace didn't pass it that well. And Boyer got over there, but it was too late. Tipped over. There's a dive by Nishida. Franzen gets it over. So Pizik up to Beckenauer Heller. She's moved. They go right back to her, though. Hawaii keeping the ball deep in their own court, and then Franzen pops it over and out. Point to Pacific. It is now 8-5. Tomorrow morning it is going to be a tough game. San Jose State, one of the great passing teams in America this year. And they have a big matchup the following week with Fresno State to determine who will be the California Bowl representative from the Big West. And I guarantee you they're going to be gunning for the Rainbows tomorrow. Right now Pacific leading here in game 2. Hawaii saved 3 game points in the first game to win 16-14, but right now they are making a lot of errors. And Chris, a lot of it is due to Pacific and their serve.
Well, Charlotte Johansson has served brilliantly here in this last stretch where Pacific has gone up 9-5 now, as we see Crystal Atwood come into the game. But Johansson was serving short, now long, now she's serving a deep driving serve, a high floater there. So she's mixed up 3 different kinds of serves.
Ball up deep in the Klum Gym rafters, but kept alive by Pacific. Free ball in the Nishida. And she points through the net and says, gotcha, and it's side out to Hawaii.
Being a co-captain and one of the spiritual leaders, she goes up like this, bangs it down, and then points, saying, yeah, I got you. She knows she's going up against Pacific's best middle blocker. So anytime you can get past Sharon Casser, you're doing pretty well.
Sharon Casser with a step-out move, but there's Hawaii. A block up front for the Rainbow Wahines. There's Key Williams. It's now 6-9. One thing John Dunning said, Chris, he is so impressed with his team's poise this year. Remember, this is a Final Four team from last year. And not only that, but they have had some big matches this year, and they've hung in there. Soltysiak, 3 times a charm. No, she's blocked again. And let's see if they use her again. Well, it goes over the net. Free ball.
Natasha Soltysiak from Goleta, California, the volleyball female player of the decade, having all kinds of problems. They're wondering where the keys were, the keys to the closet. She was locked in and couldn't get out. Great blocking by Hawaii.
Well, finally, Heller went to her and just couldn't get it to her, and Hawaii stuffs it back down. Here's Soltysiak again. Well, you know what happens there, Chris. Now she goes, I'm going to go cross court and do something differently, and she did, but it's out by 3 feet.
They've got to change the pattern around. They do. Beckenhauer moves Soltysiak to the right side.
And now she'll move to the back
clear
side.
Out of the game.
She goes to the back side because she'll sit down, and Katie Eldridge checks in. 8-9, Hawaii trying to tie it up, and Tony Nishida, one of their better servers. Set this time just tipped over, and Hawaii with a block that time, but could not push it back on the court. And Kia Williams and Crystal Atwood going, should have had that easy ball. And now Heller to serve. So Hawaii gets it back from 6-9 to 8-9.
And they got the crowd involved again, John. They're on a real bad roll there at the poor passing. They got them back into the game now.
Net violation on Katie Eldridge. She goes, no, not me, but it was called.
That's their 4th net violation. Unusual for a well-disciplined team like Pacific.
Good diving play by Nishida to keep it alive, and here's a chance for the Tigers. That time Kenyatta Lovelace was going the wrong way as she dove for that, and she might have tweaked her knee. She gets up. I think actually she fell on her left hip, and she's just going to run that one off. This floor doesn't give very much. Great try by Kenyatta. She was going one way, and you'll see why she falls here. Yeah, there's the knee, and she twists a little bit coming down. Gets a little break now as they wipe up the floor. Great coverage there by crack cameraman David Kimura. Atwood through the block, and a good dig by Eldridge.
Vicky Simonis silences the Klum crowd with that spike. Pacific having trouble against Hawaii's block, all of a sudden finds a hole in the block and buries it, picking up their 10th point.
Boyer way over to Crystal Atwood. Nice hit by Crystal. Boy, Sherry Boyer, Chris, set that one about as far as you can across the court, and Atwood doing the job, getting it around the block. She checks out. Shota checks in. Stephanie Shota, she's been in 63 of Hawaii's 74 games coming into the night.
Crystal Atwood really doing a job. She did a great job in game 1. Game 2, good role player. Shota, though, doing something that substitutes are not supposed to do. When you come into the game, serve in. It's a rare mistake for her, though. Normally, she's very good about keeping that first serve in. Dave showed you will not lose confidence in her. I trust you.
Not a good pass that time in Hawaii. Very sloppy. Williams, a terrible pass. Boyer sets it, and Williams bangs it right into the block. It's 11-8. Hawaii can't take a deep breath. They have not come back all the way yet. If they get that play working, they'll come back very strong.
And this is one of the budget keys of the game, was quickening up Hawaii's tempo. We saw Key Williams getting a quick set that time from Boyer. It was right after Key had been blocked, too, by the way. That's a great time to go to a player who's just been blocked.
And the reason for that, as you mentioned, is the Pacific block. Dave showed you's worried about their size. If you move the tempo around quickly, you get the ball over before the block gets up. And that time it'll be over to Pacific. Hawaii loses the serve.
That's why if Hawaii does have tempo problems or going too high and wide, something Boyer is more comfortable with, I wouldn't be surprised to see Shoji try and carry Anderson, the backup setter, just to get a quicker tempo into the game. However, with a 16-14 win in game 1 and hanging in there here in game 2, it's likely he'll stay with the All-American Boyer.
Well, and Boyer is doing a great job blocking so far tonight. He loses a lot of height with Kerry Anderson. Once again, a ball dropping down, and no Wahine going for it till it's too late, 12-8.
I'll tell you why that happened, John. the team gets very used to Kenyatta burying ball after ball after ball. They just got lax there. The ball's in the air a long time. There's 5 people who could have picked up that ball. No excuse for that. They're lucky that Kenyatta's been hitting as well as she has.
First game 16-14, saving 3 game points, and now Pacific leading 12-8 in game 2. Can Hawaii come back? Well, we'll find out as Heather Shaney goes back to serve. Head coach John Dunning picked up his 200th career victory this year. (12-8). Shota, good pass that time to Boyer, and they go right to Lovelace. That's what you'd expect.
Not a bad play after a timeout, John. Go to your big gun, Kenyatta. She comes through, even though Pacific had 2 blockers up on her. Look, at she's hitting .375. That's with 2 people up most of the time on her. That's a great statistic.
Roofed by the Rainbow Wahines, and there's Nishida and Franson. So Mullen's starting to do it with her blocking. Kenyatta Lovelace hitting almost 300 in conference play this year, and she has really been a big help for Hawaii. 9-12. Boyer goes down the line. Good serve. Simones hits it into the net. It's 10-12. Your car is your star player. To help keep it running its best, try high-quality Chevron gasolines with Tetraline. Boyer at 10-12 now. Ooh, Pacific calls timeout at the last minute. The fans don't like it. Dave Shoji doesn't, he kind of looks up at referee John Jabrisco's at Klum between these teams in regular season. You can see in the last 5 years, and of course they play every other year in Hawaii. Hawaii has won 3 straight series, so they lead 6-0. 83-86, Pacific was the dominant team, and 74-82, Hawaii was dominant, but you can see why this has been such a great matchup between these teams over the years. Budweiser reminds you to know when to say when, and John Dunning said when right there as he called the timeout as Hawaii comes back to 10-12. And an interesting timeout, Chris, because right as Sherry Boyer served it, the whistle blew, and we'll see if that throws off her timing at all. I mean, she's a pro. She'll come back and serve Dunning. There you see his look of concern. Hawaii at 10-12.
He's very confident, John. He's not worried about it. He just wanted to slow Hawaii down and take the Klum crowd out of this game. He desperately wants to win game 2, though. I'll tell you that right now. He does not want to go down 2-0.
Boyer gets her arms out to save that ball. Nice play. Lovelace couldn't do much with it. Once again, nobody from Hawaii goes for it, and Boyer started coming up, and Franson started going back, and then nothing. Watch Mullen Franson here.
Franson goes to the outside to get her hitter. Boyer there on her knees. Should have made a pancake move at the least.
Good serve. Boyer, everyone thought she was going to dump it. She passes it over Nishida's head, but Tony gets her fingernail on it for the kill.
It's amazing the irony of a game of power and skill and speed. We get this kind of shot right here. That's your basic whip.
You know what that reminds me of? In baseball, a guy takes a full swing and gets a Texas leaguer by mistake, or gets to the opposite field because it goes off the end of his bat.
It's the same thing. One of the beauties of sport, the unpredictability of it. And here we have Brandy Brooks coming into the game with a little topspin serve. You see, that wasn't that tough a serve, Don, I'll tell you, but she came in, and no other Hawaii player has that kind of a serve, and it threw Pacific off.
Let's see if Hawaii can take advantage. Free ball. It goes out. It's Hawaii's point. 11-12. Simonis couldn't get that one.
Great substitution by Dave Shoji there, and I'm sure that he told Brandy to go to her spin serve.
That's an
when she
amazing
came in
stuff.
game 1, remember, she served a floater, a nice, easy, straight floater. And this time he said, hey, go in and do your spinner. So sure enough, she did it. Totally threw Pacific off. Their passers were taken aback with that, and it resulted in a Hawaii point.
Well, she's in there to serve. Obviously, she's not the back row specialist.
Now she went back to her floater there. Again, a bad Pacific pass. Hawaii has a chance to tie this game up.
Crystal Atwood did not smack it that hard, but it goes through the block. A little off-timing hit. Pacific blockers now all talking to each other as they wipe the floor up. Just settle down. We've come back before. Come on. It was 12-8. Now it's 12-12.
How about the scratching and clawing we've seen tonight? Unbelievable. Hawaii down in both games, coming back to make a great match of this.
Another bad pass. And Kasser from behind the line, and it's a free ball for the Wahines. Atwood off the block. Oh, Kasser with a great hit. Very clutch. Sharon Kasser with 2 big hits from behind the 10-foot line, and she gets the serve back.
Sharon Kasser, an alert play out of the back row, hits it right off Boyer's arm. I'm surprised in the play prior to that, though, that Boyer didn't back set to Franzen. I really think she needs to get Mullen back involved in this game. Mullen's contributing blocking and defense and everything else, but hasn't been doing it on the offensive side, as we see a back set that time to a Nishida who wasn't ready. I really think Boyer's play right now is a back set to Franzen. Atwood, they're going to have 2 people on Atwood for sure. They won't block Nishida this time. Let's see.
Randy Brooks, nice pass. They go to Mullen Franzen. She's Ruth, but it's kept alive. And Mullen goes all the way across to Atwood and sees Ruth. Good dig, free ball. Nishida goes over. Kasser throws it over. Bad hit. Wild play, and it's still alive. Well, that was nuts. Everybody made mistakes, and the ball stayed alive somehow, and Hawaii, on a bad hit by Kasser, gets the side out.
John, 2 of the greatest teams in the country, and what we saw there was a rally full of errors, and Pacific made the last one. Hawaii very fortunate there.
I believe we just stepped into the twilight zone. It's 12-13. Good pancake by Hawaii, kept alive. Franzen, great play. Ruth, and it's kept alive by Pacific. And here's a free ball, and that time Nishida fell. Eldridge puts it away. Well, do you believe it? We got skating going on out here. Now it's a hockey game on this floor. Unbelievable.
John, I'm in shock. These 2 teams have played so well for 90% of the points. Now at 13-12 in the second, they're both behaving like they've never played volleyball before. Patty cake, patty cake.
You know, you get that adrenaline going, and about 5 players go for the ball, and 1 backs off, and 1 doesn't hit it right, and it's just not smooth right now, but you can't say there's not a lot of hustle out there. 13-12. Catch your breath. A long way to go. Here's Heller to serve. Good serve, and it's a mistake by Hawaii. This time, Brandy Brooks, as Atwood ducked, and that was the old buddy pass. She was blinded on that.
Oh, this is a beautiful serve right down the line to area 5. Brandy Brooks having all kinds of trouble with it. Give credit to Heller. She made a beautiful serve.
Pacific serving for the game. This is where they were last game. They led 14-12. Boyer goes back to Franzen. Chance for Pacific. See if they can win it. Not on that hit. And now Boyer outside. Atwood. Ruth. They couldn't do it in game 1. They do it in game 2. We're tied up at 1, and more action's coming up from Klum. Catch your breath. With Jane Gibson McHugh, the assistant coach for Pacific. Chris?
If anybody knows the answers to game number 3, it's going to be Janie McHugh, former UOP All-American, former Olympian. Janie, a wild affair. What can we look for in game number 3? What are you going to have to do to win game number 3?
Well, I'll tell you what, a wild affair is the understatement, but that's how it always is between UOP and Hawaii, whether it's here or in Stockton. They always play tooth and nail. I think the team that's going to win game 3 is the team that makes the least amount of mistakes. We've had too many serving errors and too many net calls. Few too many on our side, not enough on the both sides. We'll see what happens. But the team that makes the least amount of mistakes, unforced errors, not necessarily physical errors, but unforced errors, is going to win game 3.
All right, Coach, good luck.
Thanks, Chris.
John?
Interesting comment. She's obviously questioning some of the officiating there by talking about the net violations on Pacific. No subtle hint there by Janie Gibson McHugh. And now, here's Chris standing by with Howard Wallace, the assistant coach for Hawaii. Chris?
Now we're with Howard Wallace, who's going to give us his insight on game number 3. Howard, a game full of errors so far. Funny the way game number 2 ended with the teams just not wanting to win, basically. What can we look for in game number 3?
Well, I think that in these first 2 games, we've kind of figured out what you know, the other team is going to do, and you notice it still is a battle, even though it's been some errors in there. And I think we're both now have them figured out, you know, each other, and we're going to start playing a little bit better, picking it up a little bit more.
I have one quick question before you go. Mullen Franzen, I'm looking for her to be more part of the offense. Why hasn't she been set for my Sherry?
I think part of that might be some of the passing. Also, we're trying to establish the middle, so we're concentrating a little bit more on the middle in that second game and trying to get Key and Tony more involved.
We look for more middle in game 3 or more Mullen?
I think a little more middle and a lot more Mullen.
All right, Coach, good luck. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks.
Back to you, John.
Mullen, middle, and a whole lot more coming up from Klum. Now, Stanford plays UCLA tonight. Now, regardless of who wins that match, but let's say Stanford wins, they'll stay #1, obviously. But Hawaii Pacific jockeying for 3 and 4. Stanford, of course, comes in here November 27th and 29th, Chris. And if Hawaii could beat Stanford twice, there's a chance that Long Beach would be 1, Pacific would be 2, or maybe Hawaii would be 2 at that point. If the top 2 teams in the country are from the same region, they will move the second-place team out of that region. That would mean that Hawaii, Pacific, and Long Beach would not all end up in the same region.
Oh, and would Hawaii love that? If Hawaii could be that team moved out of this region, that would be great. Actually, what they do is they'd probably move Long Beach State out of the region. The #1 team in the country would move out of the region. They'd let the #2 team and the #3 team, that would be Pacific and Hawaii, stay in the region and try to win that. But it's a good NC2A rule to divide things up so that the #1 and #2 teams in the country don't knock each other out in the regionals.
Well, and from Hawaii's perspective, Chris, as you look at that, Long Beach State will end the season with 1 loss. They have no competition the next couple of weeks. So Hawaii and Pacific are battling right now to see who can maybe finish second to Long Beach State in the regional ranking. So somebody could get sent out of the region, and they would probably at this point go to the Mid-East region, which features Nebraska, who's not having a great year, Illinois, Ohio State, some of those Midwestern teams which are not having great years, and I think somebody would like to leave.
Well, you're assuming that Stanford's going to trip somewhere, either tonight against UCLA or in 2 weeks, one of the 2 nights against Hawaii.
Absolutely.
So I really think that
That's
the
the big
scenario that you
assumption.
draw up is a very accurate one, and
It's
I
a
think
what
it's
if.
one that I think it's realistic, though, and I think that Dave Shoji and John Dunning have got to be thinking about that. And here we are in a swing game, game #3, crucial to both coaches. You know, in 3 weeks, it may make a difference whether they have to play in the regional against Long Beach State.
Absolutely. We take a look at the stats from game 2. Neither team hitting that well, a sign of good blocking. And again, a lot of zeros, Chris, because there were a lot of unforced errors. Look at that. 13 kills versus 15 kills, but look at all the attempts.
Yeah, a lot of zeros, like you say. Players just trying to keep the ball in play. The percentage is not indicative of how good these teams are. 087, that's 200 points below Pacific's average. Watch for that to go up here in game #3.
Another interesting number, Pacific 3 aces, Hawaii was 0. Kept alive by the Wahines, and there, the ball is hit to no man's land. Kenyatta Lovelace again with a free ball. You got to just put it over the net. And she does not. She's having a great year, but sometimes that still comes back to haunt her. Sharon Castor, big factor toward the end of game #2. Had some big kills in the back and a block up front.
Castor's gotten 20 sets so far, only 5 kills. She's hitting 100, and she's got 2 blocks with 1 blocking error, so she hasn't been as much of a factor up front. Watch for her to play a bigger role here in game 3.
Boyer goes to Atwood, who's outside again. She's starting game 3. Jenny Wilton on the bench. Tony Nishida tried to keep it alive, but just heads it up in the crowd. The crowd appreciates the effort. 1-0 Tigers. This is the swing game, don't forget. Now, last year, Hawaii had a 2-1 lead up in Stockton and lost 3-2. So this game is not the ultimate game in terms of determining our winner, but you'd sure rather be ahead, of course, 2-1 than down 2-1.
Well, you know what Yogi Berra said.
It ain't over till it's over?
Yeah, that's right. Look at Atwood taking a good swing, one-on-one there. Kenyatta's got to keep the ball on her own side of the court. Let's see if Hawaii can convert here in this transition. Double quick. Bronson buries it. Good transition play. Again, I said at the top of the show, the budget keys of the game, that Hawaii's tempo is going to be a factor in how well they do tonight. Boyer, I think, has got to set a faster offense. Here we see the transition. Double quick. Kenyatta, or Key Williams up for a 3-set. Mullen Franson up for a back 1. Both quick plays. Both will throw those big Pacific blockers off guard.
And Mullen Franson gets a kill, which we've been saying she needs to do more of, and then she serves it into the net. Chris, the other reason you'd think right now at the beginning of a game 3 after an extended break between 2 and 3 that you'd want to do some quick sets is Pacific has had a chance to really get some rest, and they may not be jumping right away and get back into the game. So Hawaii could be very smart here and try to get some quick points.
I agree, John. And it also asserts things right away in a quick, confident manner. When you start setting the middle and doing a lot of fancy stuff, it tells the other team that you're not afraid of them. The second game loss didn't hurt you, and you're ready to get back in there and go toe-to-toe again.
Other thing a quick set does, of course, now they got to start respecting the quick set, and you can do the other sets and maybe not have as good a block going up against you. So a lot of different strategies going on But one of the keys in volleyball is you've got to get the serve on the court. If you don't get it on the court, I may be wrong, but I don't think you can score too much.
This is one of the reasons why I'm a proponent of the rally scoring. You see, that serve there had, in a normal situation in rally scoring, would be a point for the other team. Then you'd see some people starting to serve the ball on the court. Again, you see Boyer going quick to the middle. I can't help but think that what Howard Wallace told us between games 2 and 3 is starting to come true. We're seeing more middle. Now we will soon see more Mullen.
Sometimes those assistant coaches are more open than the regular head coaches. You know, they don't get a chance on camera very much. You know, you give them a tough question. We got McHugh worrying about the officials and the net calls, and Howard saying, hey, we know what we got to do. We got to do more middle, and yeah, maybe more Mullen. Boy, he can't get off the schneid right here. They've had some bad serving to begin game number 3. Alan Franzen off the net. Boyer partially blocked. Kasser takes the hit. It was tipped by Hawaii, so it did go over. Now Pacific. D. Williams goes over. Good rally this time. Lift called on Beckenauer Heller, and Dunning cannot believe it.
I can't believe it either. I didn't think it was a held ball. Dunning now has let go of it, as all good coaches should do.
It was not blown right away, as a matter of fact.
It was a little bit delayed, you're right. But I'll tell you, this is a fast game. It's tough to make every call correct. And there is the kind of dump shot that she is famous for. It's very quick, it's very deceptive. She goes up, holds both hands up as if she's going to set the ball. And all of a sudden, that left hand comes out of nowhere and dumps it down, picks up her 4th kill.
Takes a deep breath and serves it into the net. So, again, some of the most consistent players in America tonight are having some real problems on the transition between passing and the serving. Franzen, Beckenauer, Heller. Heather Shaney and Sherry Boyer gets a fist up but can't get enough of it. Side out to Pacific.
Heather Shaney showing why she was Big West Co-Player of the Week last week. That's a big honor for a young lady who hasn't really started on the team until her senior year. She's battled all of her other years for time, and finally this year she got her shot, and she goes right away to the top. Big West Player of the Week.
Ball lands just out on the block by Nishida. You mentioned Shaney, she would love to get back to the Final Four. She had a concussion last year in the Final Four. You know, she would like to have a chance to get back. Pacific got beaten 3-0 by UCLA last year in the finals. That time Nishida and Boyer, the ball going up to the net, and neither of them go for it. It is 3-0 Pacific.
Very good serving team here. Listen, this is line drive right there. Breaks slightly. Lovelace loses her concentration at the last minute.
Crystal Atwood right up close to the net. The blocker's right there. 4-0 Pacific.
Set a little bit tight that time by Boyer. She trapped her hitter. She's got to give Crystal a chance to swing at the ball. That thing was about a foot or two off the net. She needs to be 3 to 4 feet off the net, in my opinion.
Alan Franzen a little late coming up for that one. Doesn't get a full swing at it. Simones hits it into the coaching staff of Hawaii. So Hawaii takes advantage of an unforced error. Simones rubbing her fingers on that one. Mishit it, and it hurt. So Tony Nishida. Good dig in the back. Alan Franzen, Sherry Boyer, not enough communication. They run into each other.
What happened that time was Boyer and Franzen got mixed up because the ball was dug so fast to the net that Franzen really thought that she was going to set it. The last minute Boyer got there and took it away from him.
Atwood goes cross court. Good dig in the back, and Pacific goes cross court. Simone is off the block. 5-0 Pacific. Dave Shoji stands up. He calls hitting percentages on the season. The team's very even, and on tonight, Hawaii leading. There's where stats are deceiving. Hawaii hitting 60 points higher than Pacific, and right now getting skunked in game 3 after losing game 2. And there's a short set in the middle and a nice solo roof up front. Easy blocking for Charlotte Johansson, 6'1" freshman from Sweden.
That was a big-time block, John. That was one of our keys to the game as well, was Pacific's block. Here, Hawaii having trouble passing right now. And having trouble setting.
Chris, I'm not sure what it is, but suddenly it's like Hawaii has gone absolutely, totally flat from about the later part of game 2 when they started rallying. As you can see, Pacific now leading by a touchdown and an extra point. And that's a break for Hawaii as Kasher serves it out. Well, Hawaii needs to get some momentum back here. It's a long road back against Pacific when you trail 0-7, and right now, Hawaii's 7th man, the Klum crowd, has been taken out of the game. Not a good pass by Pacific, but a good hit and a good dig, though. Atwood. Conte in the back. Pacific getting a piece of every Hawaii hit now. And out, not tipped, and Shaney going long. Hawaii is on the board.
So that was a long drought, John. 7-0. I don't think we've seen Hawaii fall that far behind all year. Even in the Long Beach State series, they at least, I think, hung in there.
Well, except UCLA. Remember that 15-1 loss?
That's true.
Then they came back and won game 5. So they can come back, but they're playing sloppy right now. There was a chance, and Hawaii into the blockers. Lovelace, good try. As that ball was right at Crystal Atwood, she was not prepared for it. It bounced off her and goes out. At the end of our match, Chris and I will pick our GTE Hawaiian Tel players of the match. GTE Hawaiian Tel will make a contribution to the General Scholarship Fund of the University of Hawaii in the name of those players, one from Pacific, one from Hawaii, who go beyond the call. Heather Shaney with a lefty serve. Simonis that time off the head of Atwood. 8-1.
John, there's a rule for defensive players. If you're in the right spot in general and the ball goes above your head on a spike, you just duck and get out of the way, the ball should be out of bounds. That time, had Crystal gotten out of the way, the ball definitely would have been out of bounds.
And some credit to Simonis. She hit it hard enough. Crystal couldn't get out of the way. Crystal comes back and gets the side out back for the Rainbow Wahines. Chris, one of the difficulties I would think for Hawaii is Heather Shaney up front. It is difficult playing against a lefty because Hawaii does not have anybody to practice against that can show them that type of hitting. And Shaney's a good one up front. Is that a concern?
It is to a certain degree. Yeah, lefty's always tougher to play against in any sport because it's an adjustment because not everybody has a left-hander on their team. But the main thing that Pacific's doing well right now is they're just playing great defense. They're blocking well. They're passing well. They're just executing the fundamentals of the game. They're really on a roll. They're smiling and happy. John Dunning says they're fun to go out to every day and be with in practice. Here we see a set from the knees by the All-American Melanie Beckenhauer-Heller. And by the way, they shortened her name to Beckenheller, says Jeannie McHugh. But, you know, credit Pacific. They're playing some good, solid volleyball right now, and they're minimizing their errors, as Jeannie McHugh said. Whereas Hawaii is having errors like that. They had a ball go through Nishida's hands. They've had a bad pass. They've had Boyer mishandle that ball. There's 3 points right there of Pacific's 9.
It is 9-1, and the question now is how badly does Hawaii want it? Because a lot of this is just simply unforced errors.
There's another
10-1. You know, you would almost think this was August 15th, and these guys had never met each other on plays like that.
Well, this is also a good serve. This thing drops right at the last minute, and both those players just scrambling for it. You've got to credit the Pacific serves, too. They're serving very tough.
Lovelace comes back for the Rainbow Wahines, and Miley Golden will now come into the back row for Key Williams. So we'll see if Golden can help spark Hawaii with some serving and digging.
Well, John, being down 10-1, it's most important that Hawaii finishes strong here in order to make a game of it in Game 4 and have a chance to have that 5th game. They could even come back if they keep the block like that. They could even come all the way back.
Yogi Berra, you're the one who told me. Yogi Berra, it's 2-10. If the Klum crowd gets into it, you know, Pacific will not let Hawaii get too far back before calling a timeout. Hawaii number 2 in the country in blocking this week. Good block, and there's a great serve and a tough play and a miss hit. They call that Charlotte Johansson hit it twice. 2 fists on the ball. Dunning says no. I think that coaching staff is really talking themselves into the fact they don't like some of the calls here tonight. They're considering the fact they're at Klum and they're not going to get some of those calls. Chris, you thought that was too?
I thought that was a good call. I thought that was a good call by John Zabriskie. I really thought the ball hit twice. Mishandled ball.
Off the block, there's Golden. Lovelace. Nice dig that time by Solbizic. Not a good communication in the middle, and a dump by Beckenhauer. Not a good hit in the middle from Hawaii. The connection from Boyer to Nishida.
Beckenhauer really picks her spots well. Watch this. Ball gets up close to the net. Beckenhauer takes off on one foot there. It gets up just slightly before the Hawaii blockers and dumps it down. Great play. That's why she's an All-American.
Dave Shoji warned his team about that possibility, and there's another miscommunication in the back row. Franzen thought it might go out. Shota decided to play it last minute. Neither of them get it. It's 11-3. Nishida blocked, but a good play by Lovelace. Net violation, that time on Kasser.
Finally, Kasser says, they're starting to check back with Dunning now and say, hey, did you really net? And that time Kasser agreed, yes, Coach Dunning, I did net.
Lovelace, a held ball at the net, and it's one. Oh, they call a held ball, though. They will not give it to Beckenhauer. That's a judgment call as to whether it was held long enough to call basically a jump ball. Watch it.
It is. Here it is, a held ball right there. The ball comes to rest. If it keeps moving in one direction or the other, they can just battle it out, and it's called the big joust at the net. But that time it came to rest, and so it was a correct call to make the play go over.
Yeah, that time Nishida and Lovelace almost both letting the ball go. And Lovelace hits it long. Hawaii showing some real uncharacteristic jitters here in late November. Beckenhauer held to serve. It's 3-11. Boyer goes all the way over to Franzen off the block. And an easy kill for Kasser. 12-3. Dave Shoji calls his second timeout. Pacific 3 points away from winning game 3.
Yeah, credit Pacific for serving very well, and Hawaii having passing problems. And I really think part of Hawaii's passing problems are that they are a little bit flat-footed out there. They spent themselves a lot in that 16-14 game. That 15-12 game number 2 was emotionally draining, and they're just a half step off right now. They've had an unusual number of unforced errors, and it's ironic that Janie McHugh, the Pacific coach, talked to us in between games 2 and 3, said, hey, game 3 might be a game of who makes makes the most errors, and sure enough, Hawaii's made more errors than Pacific.
Well, it's ironic because game 1 was a relatively well-played game by both teams, and since then, we have seen errors on both sides. And now Hawaii making the most errors, and there's a shot. Lovelace knew that was tough. She was 9 feet away when she hit that one into the block. It's 13-3.
Well, Hawaii's ranked number 2 in the nation in blocking, but Pacific's showing right there they can block with anybody.
Pacific number 3 in the country. Hawaii number 4. Lovelace partially blocked.
Dave Shoji moving Kenyatta around. She's going to the right side now. He's trying to get his top spiker in a different position on the court.
Nishida puts it down. Chris, I think something you mentioned to Howard Ross between games. Malin Franzen still not enough in the flow, I think, for Hawaii to use as an alternative. Right now, she only has on the evening a whopping 6 kills. Now, in 3 games, that's 2 a game. That's at least 1 below her average, and they need her leadership in the clutch.
They really do, but you know, to her credit, though, Hawaii really has not had very good passing.
That's right. If they don't pass it to her, she can't do anything with it. Off the block, Randy Brooks calls it. Good serve by Brooks, and she does some good communicating there. Atwood. 4-13. Give a lot of credit to Brooks that time. Not only did she hit a hard serve, Chris, she communicated, something Hawaii's not done well, and she called off her teammate to get away. I'll take this one. Brooks again, a great serve. Boy, that's tough coming off the bench. And a dig, and Franzen just throws it over the net. But legally, Cheney through the block. 13-4 Pacific, and back to serve is Katie Eldridge.
Boy, Heather Cheney playing with no fear. It's almost like her confidence has been buoyed by winning Player of the Week. Picks up her 7th kill. She's hitting about 175 tonight. Not a great percentage, but she seems to be getting the right kills at the right time.
That time Nishida, nice soft touch. Pacific hanging back. And the Wahines get it again, and Key Williams comes in, and Hawaii needs her hitting and blocking.
There's a nice little quick set to the sheet in the middle, throwing off Pacific. John, if Hawaii's going to make a move, it's going to be right now, in my opinion. Key Williams up front with Malin Franson and Crystal Atwood. That's 6-1, 6-1, 6-1 across the front. If they could get some blocks going, they could come back. They at least need to finish strong. That time, both blockers off the net. That's been Hawaii's problem here in game number 3. A lot of balls falling in front of the blockers. They are not pressing over the net, closing that ball off.
13-4, you're right, Chris. One of the things about Pacific, they've had a lot of net violations, but what that indicates is the players are getting right up to the net. And Hawaii is not blocking as well as Pacific right now. Maybe they're too far off the net.
Yeah, very good point. Very good point.
4-13. You know, if I keep doing this, I may learn something about this game.
I've seen you in backyard games. There might as well not even be a net up there. You're all over it. It's like an entanglement process with you.
Just a minor inconvenience. That's what a net is. I think the net should be around the court, not in the middle of the court. 4-13. Step out move and a whiff that time. Charlotte Johansson going yes, 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 but no, 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 as it goes too far outside. A minor problem. Pacific can afford a couple of those. It's 5-13.
Charlotte may be the youngest player on the team. She's certainly not the most immature, though. He comes right back there. Beckenhauer goes right to her. Again, as I said many times, a good setter will feed a hitter who's just been blocked or just made a mistake. They'll connect with him right away. Look at that sideways set. Both blockers moving. Johansson chasing the step out set. Great play. Good line drive serve.
Oh, Franson from behind the 10-foot line. Very smart hit. She saw the blockers. She went, just tipped off the net and goes down for Hawaii.
Mullen needed that badly. She's been hitting into the Pacific block a lot. Maybe she needs to hit more out of the back row. That might be fun for her for a while.
Oh, Nishida, great dig. Boyer takes it. Shota was up there and almost took it from her. Good dig by Eldridge. Johansson pops it over. Nice pass from Brandy Brooks. Short set, and Williams couldn't get up high enough. And Simonis goes up one-on-one with Boyer and takes her. So Key Williams not getting the good, clean, crisp set, and then she doesn't get over to help out on the block, and it's drilled by Simonis. Well,
credit Melanie Beckenhauer-Heller for the deception that time. She just faked Williams out, and Williams couldn't get to the outside. Left Simonis with a one-on-one. There she comes right back with a jump serve. Franson passes it pretty decently, actually.
Brandy Brooks takes on Heller and wins that battle. So Brandy Brooks doing a good job as a sub here, and she's pumped up. I might think about leaving her in, but then again, I don't coach, so.
Well, Dave Shoji has left her, and he brought her in to serve, and she's rotated around 5 times right now. She's middle front at this point. And I think Dave just has the luxury of having a pretty deep bench. You know, he's got Wilton, he's got Atwood, he's got he's got Brooks. All three can play that outside hitting position, and he's just going with whoever's hot.
Well, he said Brooks may be a year away back in August, and that year may be up. She may be ready to play now because Hawaii needs her. Off the block that time, and Hawaii misdirecting it. Well, Hawaii has definitely slowed Pacific down. They were up 7-0 at 13-5 right now, but then again, Pacific may be taking a little bit of a breath right here because they do have enough of a lead. Not that you want to lose any intensity. 13-5, not a great pass that time. Brooks off the block. Oh, miss hit by Kasser. Brooks, little fake on her hit, threw off Kasser enough. Wahines get it back.
I like it when a player turns around and smiles like that, can laugh at themselves after a silly error. I think it shows real maturity. It puts some fun back into the game, and so they don't all take themselves too seriously.
Also easier to laugh at 13-5. I mean,
that's true.
If that were game points, you wouldn't be laughing. Tony Nishida having a great night. She's got 7 kills and no errors right now. This is a season best right now for Nishida, and they need more of this.
Tony up quickly there, cutting it back across her body, hitting the ball to the floor, something she has not done a lot of this year.
6-13. Hawaii needs to keep the serves in. They do. Boyer, that time short set over Nishida's head.
So Boyer went to Nishida there because she knows Tony's hot right now, and so she tried to feed her. Just didn't work out. Tony really didn't get back off the net that time. Didn't have a good run at the ball. Boyer should have actually stayed away from her.
Randy Brooks, decent pass. Bronson, and there's a big block up front. Roof lands out. It's a point to Pacific. It's 14-6. Tigers trying to run away and hide here. Game number 3. Half an hour Heller. Miley Golden up close. Sherry Boyer. That time Nishida. Easy roof for Kasser. No question about that one. And Hawaii is going to have to talk quickly. They now trail Pacific, leading 2-1.
Be held in Hilo next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Some big championships that went on this week. The ILH girls were decided yesterday when Kamehameha defeated University High School in 3 games, an exciting match, and those two may meet again in the finals. And today in boys action, the Punahou boys defeated Kamehameha 16-14, 15-7. OIA championships go on tomorrow at Farrington in both the boys and the girls, and that should be exciting. And finally, on the Big Island, they'll be deciding their champion tomorrow as well. But big games in Hilo next week. Those who are going to be on the Big Island, be great to see out there and go support the local preps. They may be feeding this University of Hawaii team.
Undoubtedly will. It's also time for the annual Mad Dash. Don't miss this fun run walk event to benefit the Mothers Against Drunk Driving. That's next Saturday, November 24th. Pick up your official entry form at any Gas Express location to make the Mad Dash on November 24th. That starts at the state capitol at 4 p.m. next Saturday, a week from tomorrow. Chris, you're Dave Shoji. What do you do right now when you're in the Hawaii huddle?
Well, the first thing I ask the team is to not give up. Down 2-1. Hawaii's come back from that kind of deficit many times in their history. Dave Shoji's a competitor. I think he's got to throw a lot of himself into that huddle and say, look, I've been down lots of times. You guys have been down lots of times. Let's dig down right now, pretend like it's 0-0, and let's just come back and scrap hard. Technically, though, I would say they have to pass the ball better. You see, they hit 167. They've obviously got to have more kills and more terminating plays. They had a lot of zeros that time. They only had one more hitting error than Pacific, but what we don't see there are the bad passes. Obviously, Pacific had 3 aces. There's at least 3 Hawaii bad passes, but you and I both know there were at least half a dozen more that resulted in Pacific points. So again, I would say that they've got to execute the fundamentals better. They've got to serve the ball on the court, get off to a good quick start, and pass the ball better to Boyer so she can get the middle rolling again. Key Williams needs to get back involved. Mullen needs to get back involved.
Seniors also need to get some emotion going out here on this team. They were very flat as they went down the tubes in that game. And Pacific, as you said, 3 aces to none in game 3 aces to none in game 2. So Pacific out-acing Hawaii by far.
Well, you know who may take care of that, John, is Tony Nishida. I think I saw Tony yelling in between points when the team was way down. She was saying, come on, you guys, let's fight back. So she may be the igniting captain there that'll get things going.
Tony's having a good night so far, hitting up front. Kenyatta Lovelace didn't get her timing down on that hit. And Shaney, Miley Golden, good play in the back row. Bronson keeps it alive and popped over. Good rally in 0-0 in game number 4. I'm not sure what Shaney was doing there. She had a pass. She could have set it. She tried to hit it from a weird position, and she hits it wide.
Actually, I thought it was a great thing that she did. She's a left-hander, and it's a lot easier for a left-hander to spike that kind of a ball coming at the net. I thought it was a brilliant move myself. She just launched it long, that's all. But Dunning's not mad at her. She's smiling. See? She said, hey, I don't get a chance to do that very often. Maybe one time a night, and usually it'll go down.
Ooh, big
great
hit
serve
by Boyer.
Oh, what a serve. She just drilled it.
Simonis was blocked by Hawaii. It pops back over, and Malin Bronson gets a kill.
Now, this is the kind of play that'll get the crowd going, that'll get Mullen going again. The ball's bumped back over to Hawaii side. Mullen just crunches it.
And even gritted her teeth, I think I saw on that one. You know, Mullen's hitting the ball much harder this year. Kenyatta! 2 free balls for Hawaii. They take advantage of it. So here comes momentum. That fickle character, Mr. Mo.
Remember you asked me what I said Hawaii needs to do here in game number 4. They got to get off to a quick start. They've already got 2 overpass kills by Lovelace and Franson, and it's gotten the crowd back into it. Remember, the Klum crowd, as you said earlier, John, the 7th person for Hawaii's team. Oh my goodness, this is some kind of roof job here. Kenyatta Lovelace absolutely turning this ball back into the court using her 30-inch plus vertical leap. Watch this, she turns it in all by herself.
Oh, bad pass for Pacific. They'll just dump it over and a free ball for the Wahines. Oh, kept alive, but no. That time, Molly Golden, great job. Boy, she had about 4 good digs, and you wouldn't even think about it because the big kills at the end of the play, but she is so effective in the back.
We see the back set by Boyer trapping Franzen outside. Again, Sherry's location on her back set's not as good as it could be.
Nice floater serve. Short set, Nishida doesn't get a full piece of it. There's that middle connection Hawaii needs, and Simonis goes right through, and a net violation anyway on Hawaii. And it's 1-3. I'm impressed with Vicky Simonis' speed this year, Chris. She is really banging the ball much harder than we've seen her in the last year.
She really is. She's got 14 kills, and I believe that leads the team.
Lovelace, good pass to Boyer. Nice move by Hawaii. Oh, Franzen that time just pushed it over the net. And again, she just pushes it over the net. And that costs Hawaii because Simonis dumps it. Boy, Mullins got to hit the ball hard.
Well, Mullins' defense that time, though, John, was a very awkward play at the net. She really did not have a good chance to take a swing at it.
Back set to Lovelace. Hangs and kills.
Now, that time, Sherry Boyer's set location was perfect. She got it about 3 feet off the net. Kenyatta had a good chance to take a run at it. And she got a one-on-one situation. That's the kind of set location Boyer needs.
Yeah, Lovelace up in the air about a week and a half on that one. A great move. And that time, net violation called on Hawaii. Doesn't matter. It's off Boyer's arm.
That time, Crystal Atwood that time into the net, John.
Well, the good news, though, for Hawaii is they are getting closer to the net. Maybe too close, but we mentioned they probably were too far back because all the balls were going through the block. Shaney with that lefty serve. Good pass from Lovelace. Don't know who that set was so far over. Nishida said you almost wonder if she might have been going short to Atwood. Either way, it's 3-3, and the whole crowd went, oh, on that play. We'll try it again. Well, Pacific was ready. Got a partial block. Lovelace taking her time. Nice play outside, and Atwood just pops it up. 4-3 Pacific through the block.
The Tigers starting to get some momentum right now, John. They're starting to get on a roll. Just steady play, nothing spectacular. But again, Beckenhauer Heller with great set location and deceiving that Hawaii block. Dave showed you frustrated right now that the Rainbow Wahines are getting stuck.
Well, they have 3 senior co-captains out there in Shaney, Heller, and Kasser. And they've got the juniors in Simonis and Eldridge. They've been to a Final Four. They've been to the Big West Championships. And they've played in Klum before. Nishida calls for it in the middle. She gets it, but there's the block again. And now they go over the top and get the point. So Pacific, the back row, comes up to get the short hits off the block. Hawaii does not get it. It's 5-3.
Here we see a tip play. They know Hawaii's playing back. Boyer manages to get a hand on it, but you know, Hawaii's got to play better defense than that and keep the ball in play. If a team's going to beat you, you want them to beat you banging the ball, having to jump high and hit hard. But to get it, win points on tip plays like that is very, very frustrating.
That time the timing play to Nishida. She calls it again in the middle and hits it out, and Hawaii calls timeout. It's 6-3 Pacific. Used. Hawaii needs a few more players doing what?
I think they need to play with a little more abandon. I think they need to be a little more relentless and passionate about their attacks and go out and try to bury more balls rather than just keep them in play right now. They got to take some chances because Pacific is really on a roll. Hawaii jumps out to a 3-0 lead. Next thing you know, they're down 6-3 here in game number 4.
Outside Mullen Franzen hits it wide. It's 7-3 Pacific. I couldn't agree with you more. You look at Vicky Simonis, not the tallest or the strongest player in Pacific. She is cranking balls left and right and diving all over the place. Mullen Franzen passes, and now they go to Nishida again in the middle. Atwood through the block. Nice hit by Crystal. The block was there, but she goes through it.
Actually, John, I think what Hawaii needs right now is a couple of good side outs and a couple better rallies. A long dry spell from leading 3-0 to going down 7-3. You know, a couple of points here could turn the whole match around for them. And Pacific knows this, too. They know if they let Hawaii back into this game and they creep out and win it, that Game 5 is going to be a tremendous advantage to Hawaii.
Good serve by Nishida, but Pacific is there, and Simona's again banging it. Key way outside to Atwood. Nice set to Simona's roof. Oh, and Malin Franson looking through the net that time. Malin Franson showed that emotion. She looked right, look at that face.
I'll tell you what this is. This is frustration. She knows she goes out. That's what she's having one of her best blocking nights ever. And she's saying, boy, am I glad I'm helping this team on blocking, because hitting-wise, it's not been a great night for her.
Oh, Sherry Boyer just whiffed on the set that time, and what a look of frustration on Sherry's face. Good pass from Lovelace and no avail.
And Hawaii with a great opportunity to convert there and go to 5-7. Instead, they're still down 4-7. This is not one of their strongest rotations. This particular rotation is where they lost an awful lot of points in game number 1. Let's see if they can get a side out here.
Soltysik into serve in the back row. That's not a bad rotation there. T. Williams, averaging about 4 kills a game, bangs it down.
There's that quick connection in the middle we talked about. That's the way to beat that big, lumbering Pacific block, is to go with the quick attacks and quick sets.
Well, they've tried it. They've just been misconnecting. There's a free ball. Off the block, and Hawaii makes it 5-7, so they got it to 5-7. They're going to need more than that. They trail 2-1. John Fink and Chris McLaughlin, glad you could join us. Battle of the Titans. Back set. Roof.
I'll tell you, this can be such a great emotional lift to get an easy point like this, where there's a good back set. Key Williams, a good move to the outside, 4 hands across. Guess who got it, though? Crystal Atwood, the sophomore. Nice penetration over the net.
Good extension of the hands that time at 6-7. The crowd pretty quiet, Chris. I think they want to see if this comeback is for real. Tipped over the top, nicely kept alive, but Lovelace bumps it over. And it goes back over to Pacific. Kenyatta Lovelace, by mistake, I believe. Well, I know she didn't want to just bump it over like she did, and against a team like Pacific, you'll pay for those mistakes. 7-6. Hands on her knees, Charlotte Johansson getting ready to serve. I wonder if she's ever played in anything this humid. Get her breathing hard. Now she's ready. Floor wipers have done their job. We'll go through about 30 towels on this floor tonight. Not a good pass, and tough play for Atwood. And Crystal with a good swing. So Atwood's starting to come on now for Hawaii. He's been in the last 2 games for Jenny Walton, and she'll go back to serve now, but no, Stephanie Shota will check in. So it's 6-7. The crowd just wishing to explode. This place is jammed all the way around, bodies on bodies, all over in the back, on the sides, and they're ready to explode. They want to see if it's for real, this comeback by Hawaii.
And Hawaii in a good rotation right now. Good defensive player with Shota. She gets a dig right there. They've got a good spiker up front, and Kenyatta Lovelace.
I believe that was accurate. She is a good spiker. And that was a good spike. 7-7.
Notice Shota kept her serve in when she came in the sub. Now she can crank this serve up a little more. She does. There's a good serve down the line.
Nice pass by Pacific. But they hit it right in the middle to Hawaii. Boyer dumps it. And not to an open spot. Now Franson pass to Boyer. This time she dumps it. Oh, it's a dump game, and a lift is called on Heller. Point to Hawaii.
I'll tell you, Melanie Beckenhauer-Heller is going to go over and talk to Zabriskie right now, and she is, as a captain, she can do that. John Dunning being quiet, he knows that Melanie can handle herself with the referee. What she's questioning is, how can you call that, Mr. Zabriskie, when my back is to you and you can't see whether or not I lifted it?
John Dunning jumps up off the bench, does a little dance to get the attention of the officials, and calls timeout. We're at the circus now, and Hawaii's coming back.
The John Dunning call timeout happens right here when Melanie Beckenhauer-Heller puts that ball over backwards like that, and it and John Zabriskie called a lift right there, and he actually uses that same motion when he makes a signal. And in Mr. Zabriskie's defense, I thought it was a good call. It was actually held higher than, it was up more near her shoulders and neck. It wasn't in her lower body where he couldn't see it. He actually had a good view of it, and I thought he made a good call.
That's a good look at it from two angles, one in regular motion, one in slow motion. Hawaii has come back. It's 8-7 Wahines. Tipped over the top, Shota, great play coming up. Malin Franzen off the block.
Passionate play I was talking about. Malin Franzen earlier tonight had the same kind of ball go up in the back row. She bumped the ball over, or she tipped it over. That time she went up and hit it aggressively. Great play. Hawaii on a roll now. What a game of swings this has been.
Stephanie Shota with a great dig, too. That time she can't get there. Pacific gets it back. Well, we'll see if the poise of Pacific can bring them back here. They now trail 7-9.
How about the momentum shifts, though, Mr. Fink? Hawaii goes up 3-0. They go down 7-3. They come back. They go ahead 9-7.
They need good passing here. Lovelace, so across court, and it lands out.
Just missed by a silly millimeter. Klum crowd doesn't like it, but I thought it was a good call. John Dunning saying, hey, finally we got one that went our way.
Not a good pass that time, and here's Lovelace. She can't do much but bump it. And now Pacific with the same thing. So Hawaii with a chance. Back set. P. Williams can't hit that hard. Well, again, Hawaii, just too many missed hits. Bad transition passing, and Pacific ties it up at 9.
Klum crowd. This is where the 7th player comes into play. John, the Klum crowd senses that the momentum shift is going back the other way now.
Well, this is where they got to get into the game.
Points have been scored in bunches here in game number 4. Bunches of 3, bunches of 7. Bunches of 5. Now Pacific about to be on another roll. Well, sure enough, now how much of that factor do you think the Klum crowd made right there? I think they really were sending a message to the Hawaii team, hey, guess what? We don't want you giving up a bunch to this Pacific team. You better stop them right now, and sure enough, they did.
But I'll tell you something interesting tonight. They have not maintained that spirit when it's almost like they're not sure if Hawaii's really going to get there. And then after Hawaii gets the kill, sure, they're cheering. But like now, they're, sometimes you get that rhythmic clapping. They're kind of waiting. We'll see if they get a chant going if Hawaii gets some points here. Lovelace. Sherry Boyer's tipped up. Oh, that time free ball in the middle and a good block by Kasser and a good hit, and the crowd doesn't understand, but that was perfectly legal.
Crowd wants 2 hits. There's 1 hit right there, and here's the other hit right there. 2 hits. They think that's illegal. However, remember in volleyball, when you're blocking at the net, you're allowed 2 contacts.
I guess they thought it wasn't much of a block since she was already at the net. Boyer dumps it. A terrible pass, and Sherry makes something good happen. That's what we expect to see from Sherry Boyer.
Well, she goes from great plays like her blocking tonight to another great play like that where she's making a beautiful dump. And then there are other times tonight where she's had questionable setting choices and questionable location. But, I'll tell you, if anybody knows that she's making mistakes, it's Sherry. She's very hard on herself. She wants to play the perfect game. Remember, she's been playing volleyball a long time. She played all summer long. You've got to wonder whether or not that sometimes she's volleyballed out a little bit. I don't think that's the case. I would hope it's not, but remember, she's played an awful lot of volleyball all last spring, all summer playing with the National B team and the University Games team.
Sharon Castle looks over for the serve. Sherry Boyer, you're right, her biggest critic. She said, I'm just not playing great, and she's got to get out of it. Into the net, Lovelace, not even close, 10-9 Pacific.
Actually, that was a better set that time, I thought. Kenyatta didn't do a good job with it, so it's becoming a combination of setter and hitter now.
Those need a side out. There's that floater serve. Malin Franzen, that ball was teletyped. Everybody knew where that was going. Pacific blockers right up there. They know how Franzen's going to hit. A lot of time.
There she had the seam. She tried to go for it, but give credit to Heather Shaney. She dropped that big left paw into the seam. Took away Malin's shot.
Short set. There's a great dig by Kasser. And Franzen, clean hit on that one. That time she put it down with more authority. And the Pacific players are saying she was over the net, and they get no help. Shaney and Beckenauer-Heller asking Zabriskie. He says, no, that was clean.
And that ball has to break the plane of the net. Just a fraction of it has to break the plane of the net. Then the blocker can block it and follow through with their hands over the net as long as they don't touch the net.
9-11. Hawaii's got to get some points. Good hit. It lands in.
Shaney once again, the deceptive lefty, comes up with a key kill. She hasn't gotten a lot of kills tonight, but she seems to get them in the crucial spots.
Carol Conti comes back in the back row. Kasser comes out. Kasser has done a great job in all phases. When they've needed the big play, she's been there. 11-9. Off the block and a good break for Pacific. It almost went into the lights, but it doesn't. And a free ball. Step out move, tipped over. There's Hawaii, but they push it over, and a block is no good. Another unforced error. Hawaii taking a dig and throwing it over the net. It's 12-9 Pacific.
Watch for a timeout by Dave Shoji very soon, or a substitution. He's got to slow down Pacific's momentum. The Klum crowd right now trying to slow down Pacific's momentum.
Boyer, Nishida partially blocked, so a chance now outside, and Simonis. 13-9. Simonis has been hitting hard all night. She takes something off it, and a timeout is called. Hawaii, their second and final timeout of Game 4. And Pacific stand right now. You play 18 matches in conference, so tonight and tomorrow night, the end of the season for Pacific. And Long Beach, I guarantee, is going to end up 17-1. I think they play New Mexico State and maybe Utah State. Utah State getting their first conference win tonight. How about that?
Good for them. You like to see the underdog sneak one away, don't you?
Absolutely. 13-9. The crowd exhorting the Wahines on one more time. And Hawaii's got to get the side out now. It's going to be awfully tough if Pacific gets to the precipice, that magic number 14.
Crucial side out coming up right here, John. Crucial side out.
Mullen Franzen tips it over the top, and now she throws it, and there's Pacific. And a free ball, and Pacific with a good opportunity. Simone is off the block. No one there for Hawaii. It's 14-9, and Jenny Wilton came down funny on her ankle as she checks into the match. And Dave Shoji's going to check in with Crystal Atwood to slow the momentum down. Chris, Hawaii did not hit any of those balls hard enough to do any damage. And again, part of it was the passing, but Pacific taking advantage. 14-9 now. Heather Shaney for the match.
You got to credit Pacific.
Absolutely.
Great blocking, good defense. They're swinging away on those transition plays.
14-9.
Hawaii not out of this, John. I'll tell you, if they get a side out here, they could come back the way these points have come in bunches tonight.
Way outside, Atwood off the block, and here's Pacific's first chance for the match. Not yet.
What a block by Nishida. She goes to the outside there, gets a little relief in the middle. Goes up to the outside. She's got Mullen Franzen taking her place in the middle there, and Tony says, hey, I like blocking on the outside. This is fun.
So Tony will go back to serve. Nishida dove for a ball. Chris might have been out, but she might have thought it was tipped at the net, and you got to go for it if you think it was tipped.
You're right. I think she did see a touch on the block, and she had to go for it. She had a pretty good play at it, just went off her arms. Again, though, credit Pacific. They're playing very steady volleyball, swinging away with abandon from the outside.
Soltizic back to serve. Natasha Soltizic. 14-9 Pacific trying to take it here on night number 1. Boyer goes back set to Franzen. Didn't hit it very hard off the block. It lands out, and it's back over to Hawaii. They're looking for the tip. Beckenauer-Heller on every close call now. I think the coaching staff has told Pacific they're not real thrilled with these calls because Pacific is chirping a bit.
Well, to be honest with you, it sounded to me like there was a touch, but I think it touched the net, not the blocker's hand. So tough serve by Mullen.
Outside off the block, it's punched over. Here's a free ball for Hawaii. Let's see about the transition. Yep.
Now, if this game goes true to form, remember, Hawaii led 3-0. Pacific comes back, goes ahead 7-3. Hawaii comes back, goes ahead 9-7. Pacific goes ahead 13-9. Now, Hawaii, if it keeps going the way it is, the leapfrogging method here, Hawaii could come back and win this game. We'll see.
You got to keep the serve and get some points. There's a tip and a point. Eldridge that time tried a little tip, a little cute play, and the Hawaii block got enough of it to knock it back down. And John Dunning slows the momentum down as he checks Vicky Simonis back in the back row for Tilsic.
He'll first use a substitution to try to slow Hawaii down and get the crowd out of it. Then he'll call timeout. If they lose this point, watch them to call timeout.
Hawaii still 3 points away from knotting it up. Another good serve by Franzen. Heller. Key Williams tried to do that herself, and here's Lovelace to Boyer. She dumps it. Nice. It is 12-14, so Dunning here waiting for that timeout call. He lets the floor wipers wipe up. He's sitting on the bench. I think he'll wait and see if Hawaii can sneak one more point in here. No, he's going to call it now, and it was coming, and it comes now. He calls timeout. Stop the momentum and catch your breath. Here come the Wahines. John Dunning, a little cat and mouse game there, Chris. He waited until the floor wipers had finished, gave himself some time. Then he stood up and called for the timeout. You see the hitting percentages tonight. You can see what good defense and some unforced errors will do. Pacific now under 200. And again, the stats are deceiving because Hawaii needs 2 points, and they need them right now.
Question is, can Mullen keep her serve in after?
Who's down with LCP? Well, ladies, back to me. Now tell me exactly, have you ever known a brother who had another like me? You down with LPP? Who's down with LPP? You know, LPP help from the very start.
Hi, listen to the crowd.
I'll tell you, 2,000 people just groaned. That was painful. Hawaii had 2 different chances to get the 14th point and tie this thing up. Couldn't quite do it.
So here's Pacific now serving for the match. The crowd comes alive. Good serve. Lovelace to Boyer, outside. Atwood. Oh, he calls it in, and it goes back to Hawaii. Well, interesting, Chris. I think Zabriskie said it was tipped. The linesman said it was in anyway. Didn't matter.
Either way, Hawaii gets the side out.
Yeah, the Pacific players were saying we did not tip it.
This place is jumping right now. I'll tell you, every single point a big one. Look at Dunning. He says, oh, we got the match won. Oh, and then he claps, says, okay, it's all right, calm down, we'll be back.
I think Dunning thought it was in. You didn't see him get upset at that. Dump tie! It was dumped and it's tied. A bad pass. Holy cow! Unbelievable. I mean, you can't come up with enough words to describe it. Pacific 1 point away. Boys' experience all going out the window because now the Rainbows have tied it up.
I hate to say I told you so, but at 14-9, I went out on a limb and said, hey, Hawaii could come back, and sure enough, they have.
I hate to say you told me so too, and Stephanie Schroeder says, come on, I told you, let's go. 15-14.
Oh, just check out the crowd. They are having some kind of fun tonight. Oh, they love this.
Chicken skin time. Hawaii's serving to win the game. This serve must go in for Stephanie Schroeder. It does.
Oh, a bad pass. A bad pass. Hawaii can win game 4 right here.
Well, you better wake the neighbors up. We're going to game 5 at Klum. UCLA, of course, earlier in the season, and what more could you expect? Game 5, but one thing we won't be seeing in Game 5 is the rally point. It will be used in some women's college volleyball in the NCAA season. It will be used in the NCAA tournament. But Chris, the Big West Conference is one of those conferences that voted against the rally point scoring. Why don't you explain the rally point scoring?
Well, the rally point scoring is volleyball's version of saying, hey, in Game 5, we're not going to keep the fans around for 3 or 4 hours here. We are going to send them home early with a dramatic finish that lasts between 9 and 12 minutes. But the Big West coaches unanimously voted to protest that. They felt that the fans and the players deserve to see the game played the way it's been played all night long. Now, to be honest with you, as a fan, I would rather see rally scoring.
And I disagree. I think they've come this far. I want to see them go the same way and play this one out, side outs and all. I love it. And I tell you, it's also a TV rule. In order to get more television coverage, women's volleyball has said we can't have these 3.5 hour matches because some people won't pick it up. But KHNL doesn't care. We'll pick it up. We'll be with you if we're here all night long. So they're going to Game 5. It will be the regular scoring system.
There'll be no cap on it. We could beat it 21-19.
That's right.
And here we see the stats for game number 4, a most bizarre game. Pacific hitting 170, Hawaii hitting 240. You see the digs, Pacific with 3 more. The real story of that game, though, was the way the points were scored in bunches, as we said earlier. They were scored in bunches of 3, 7, 5, and Hawaii happened to be the last leapfrog, going all the way from being down 14-9 all the way up to winning that game 16-14. A most incredible game. And what a comeback by the Rainbow Wahines.
Give that lady some credit. She had some looks on her face earlier tonight like she wasn't real thrilled with the way things were going, and she comes back hard. And we do have a final score in. Stanford has beaten UCLA to remain 3-1, win 15-2, 15-1, 9-15, and 15-8. Boy, UCLA now with 5 losses this year, Chris. They have had 5 losses the last 3 years combined. And we saw UCLA in September and said this is probably going to be another championship year for them.
Well, a lot of the coaches were conceding it to them.
That's why we play the games, though, and that's why we're here for Game 5.
Oh, the Wahines look about 10 times more relaxed here in Game 5. They feel like, wow, did we sneak one away there in Game 4? And now they're really starting to open it up. Nishida with 10 kills. Again, having a good night offensively, with the exception of game number 3.
You know, like a plot unfolding. 4 hits on Pacific side. It goes back over to Hawaii. Chris, I'm thinking like a plot unfolding. I'm sitting there at home, and it's 14-9, 14-10 Pacific. I'm going, oh, nice point, Hawaii, but boy, you know Pacific's going to get 1, and they don't get it. And then it's 14-13, and then it's 15-14, and suddenly we're in Game 5.
We're in the middle of a titanic battle, as you said. Number 3 and number 4 teams in the nation. This is as good as it gets around the country, and it's a shame that only one out of the Northwest region will go to the Final Four. That's really sad, because I really think we're seeing the best teams in the country, and Pacific and Long Beach State, Hawaii, right there. Only one of those to go is a real shame.
Absolutely. But again, if they finish 1 and 2, or 2 and 1 and 2 with Pacific and Long Beach, you know what I'm talking about. They may go to a different region for the first time ever.
That's true.
As John Dunning pointed out last year, the pollsters easily could have put UCLA and Stanford 1 and 2. Instead, they put Stanford 3 and stuck Hawaii in there at 2. And so Stanford had to play at UCLA in the West Regional and got eliminated. Sherry Boyer outside. Kenyatta Lovelace had a wide open kill. She had 1 blocker up, and she goes wide. It's 2-1. So Hawaii can't afford to think too much about Game 4, because here comes Pacific in Game 5.
Tyra Dave showed you I'd call an early timeout here in game number 5 if they happen to fall behind. If they get off to a good start, let them roll. But there's going to be a natural letdown by the Wahines after winning game number 4 in such dramatic fashion. There's going to be a slight letdown.
Looking for the tip. They don't get it. Dunning exhorting his team. There's Shaney. It is 1-2, and here's Lovelace. Atwood keeps it alive. Nishida keeps it alive. And that time, 2 Hawaii players, one of them should have yelled, I got it. Atwood and Golden, not the most vocal of Hawaii's players. They both go for it, and Atwood didn't hit it hard enough.
I'll tell you, Crystal Atwood made a great play on the block right here. She pops up. Watch Nishida's play. Look at this. She stretches way out. That is one great play. Somebody should have kept that ball in play after that. It's a shame that had to go down to the floor. Tony Nishida with in my opinion, her best effort of the night. That's a great, great play.
And the good news for Hawaii, at least 2 players went for it as opposed to 0 players. Through the block, and the Rainbow Wahines get it back.
Well, the big question in game number 5 here, John, may be, will this be a game of bizarre momentum shifts, or will it be a game of who makes the fewest errors?
How about a game of weather? You're in Klum Gym where it's hotter than anywhere else where you go 5 games, and Pacific just flying over. They were delayed at the airport. They were delayed getting into their hotel. And that time they were delayed going for the ball, and that looked like the Wahines with miscommunication earlier tonight, and it's 2-2.
What an advantage having 6'1" Key Williams and a 6'1" Atwood up there for those close plays at the net. Key Williams really coming on strong as a blocker. I believe she's ranked, what, number 5 in the nation right now. And she has yet to get a whole lot of blocks tonight. You know, in game 5, she could become a big factor blocking-wise as Pacific possibly tires, as you say, with this Klum humidity. We'll see.
And, well, for Key, too. You know, fatigue's going to set in for everybody. Hawaii should be more used to it. That ball's hit long. 3-2.
Pacific's got to be thinking, I can't believe we didn't bury these guys in game number 4. Now they're ahead of us, and they could really start questioning themselves. We'll see how their confidence is here as Nishida has a beautiful serve.
Well, and they've obviously got to forget about that. You're right. Key Williams tries to tip it, but way too high, and now a 3 shot for Pacific. Good dive by Lovelace. Click, click that time. What a dive by Lovelace. What timing on the dive.
Here's what we call sheer guts. That ball's about ready to hit the floor. Not the most beautiful dive, I'll tell you right there, by Lovelace. It wasn't your 3-point landing, but she kept the ball in play. She kept it on her side of the net, something she did not do earlier tonight when she kept bumping it over onto Pacific's side of the net. That one there resulted in a very crucial point for Hawaii to go up 4-2 here in game 5.
She also did something interesting in the way that she hit the ball and then got her hands down so she wouldn't have to fall on her elbows, which can take its toll. Oh, it's kept alive off the head of the Pacific player. This point's not over. And Pacific is there again. There's the dump. 5 players go up at the net. Looks like a jump ball. Johansson, the freshman, says you take it, but it's too late. That's an amazing point. That ball was saved by a Pacific head. This isn't soccer. This is volleyball.
And it is okay to play the ball off your head. Anything above your waist is okay.
5-2.
Sure enough, Pacific used their head there.
So to speak.
We've seen everything tonight, Fake. This is unbelievable.
We've seen skating on the wet floor, which is the hockey version in Klum, and now we've seen some soccer. Sharon Castro from behind the 10-foot line with a miss, and John Dunning says stop the momentum. The Rainbow Wahines looking for the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Well, right now, if the season ended, Hawaii would play, I guess, Fresno State, number 3, or maybe Montana, and Pacific would play against Northern Arizona in all probability. But, of course, a lot of volleyball and rankings to be determined before the season end. Usually they take 8 teams from a region. Cal Poly, we saw last week, still number 8. And it's 6-2 Hawaii. Oh, free ball. Good serving for Hawaii has really helped here as they've come back.
Interesting to see a chink in the armor on Melanie Beckenhauer-Heller. She's been so precise in her location all night. She's having problems now. Boyer, on the other hand, setting the ball quite well. Her team running smoothly. Hawaii off to a 7-2 lead here.
Another good serve and another bad pass. See, it's also the passing, and there's a roof.
Malin Franzen.
Key Williams looks around and said, I didn't hit that one. Where'd that ball come from? I have no idea, but you watch. You'll see Malin.
Oh, there was 2 of them up there. There was 4 hands, but Key Williams says, I never even saw that thing. Where'd you come from, Malin? And Malin Franzen, again, that's about the 4th time tonight that Malin's come up with a key block. Says here she's got 3 block assists and 1 block solo.
Hawaii with 4 players in double figures and kills. Oh, Crystal!
Oh, the Hawaii bench high-fiving it, and they have a right to high-five. Here's Atwood, the young sophomore from Miracosta, getting the big roof.
timeout from Pacific. It's 9-2 Wahines. John Dunning's face, but a never say die kind of guy. He knows his team has come back all year long. They've been in tough matches and come back and won them. It is 9-2 Hawaii. (10-2) Pacific, possibly tired, possibly just too much determination on the Wahine side.
I'll tell you, we haven't given enough credit to Toni Nishida's serving. She has done a magnificent job of serving the last 5 points in a row. Unbelievable. She served line drive bullets. She served short. Here, a line drive. Finally, she misses. I'll tell you, she did that almost single-handedly, brought the Bows back. A lot of credit to Toni Nishida, and the crowd loves it. They're clapping for her right now. They said, hey, thanks, Toni. This is fun.
Actually, you're right. Some of the bad passing is due to the good serving. Kept alive by Atwood after a whiff by Williams. Boy, it's starting to go right for the Wahines.
Once again, Mullen Franson with a big block up front. Key Williams getting credit for a half a block, too, because she got there. But Mullen Franson, what she's lacking in offensive output tonight, she's more than making up for in blocking.
Franson at 10-2.
Beckenhauer having all kinds of trouble with her setting right now. She cannot find the handle on the ball. Her sets are drifting to the 10 to 12 foot line. Her hitters are having trouble keeping the ball in play. Very unlike the All-American setting job that she's done all year long. Charlotte Johansson now, the Stoic Swede from the junior national team. Sweden, youngest girl on the UOP team, with an awful lot of pressure on her right now. 2,000 people breathing down her neck.
Good serve, and there's Franson with the pass. Boyer, Key, and missed timing in the middle, and look what happens. Boy, the momentum of this match has been unbelievable, Chris McLaughlin. John Dunning saying that too. That was a miss by Hawaii. They've had trouble in the middle. The transition, a bad play, and look what Pacific does. They throw it up into the crowd.
You know, this is what Hawaii did in Game 3, though. They literally did the same kind of thing. They handed the game over to Pacific, so we're seeing an amazing shift momentum.
Well, we've seen the Twilight Zone. I believe we've now seen Jekyll and Hyde. Look at those mistakes.
Here's a great passing team, and they get two horrible shanks right there, back to back.
But a big roof by Kasser and Heller.
Oh, Kenyatta wanted this swing so badly. She hasn't hit it from the outside lately. She goes out and she goes up against a very good blocker in Sharon Kasser. She's one of the best in the country.
Net violation up front against Pacific, and that was not a good hit by Hawaii, and Shaney doesn't like it. Well, the call might have been against Heller. I'm not sure. No one's saying anything, but Shaney looking over.
It was on Shaney. It was 23. Orlando Almarza called it on Heather Shaney. Shaney knew she hit the net. Key Williams comes out. Miley Golden in. Good back row for Hawaii right now. It was Shota, Franson, and Miley Golden.
10-2. What a match. Oh, Kasser. There's a move we have not seen much of all night, and you know who did that so effectively? Alicia Mills and Danielle Scott did it for Long Beach State. They killed Hawaii with that big blocker in the middle going off to the side.
Now back into the game, Vicky Simonis, who's played so well tonight. 20 kills, 20 digs. What a night she's had.
This match a long way from over. This Pacific squad is too good. Lovelace going wide.
One thing Hawaii, John, cannot afford to do, and that is hit balls out like Kenyatta just did. They need to keep Pacific in long rallies and hope to wear them down. They can't give them quick, easy points like that.
Chance again for Kenyatta.
Not a good set by Boyer.
Well, and that time it was tipped over and absolutely nobody there, and Shoji just put his feet through the floor of Klum Gym. He'll have to repair that tomorrow morning. I'm kidding. And he calls timeout. He's not happy with the transition. H&L will bring you exclusive complete coverage from the Fukuoka Grand Sumo Tournament. The action continues tonight at a special time after Best of the Worst and Totally Hidden Video right here on KHNL. 4 serving 10. Chris, you like those quick timeouts when the momentum switches like that?
I think it was a good timeout by Dave Shoji. Oh, nice hit by Toni Nishida. Good side out play. Sherry Boyer going to the hot Nishida, who's playing much better tonight in the offensive end of the court. Happy Toni, a good leading captain. She's one of the ones, by the way, when things were down and out, she was going around the court yelling, slapping, giving high fives, saying, let's not give up. And sure enough, they find themselves leading here in game number 5. I'll tell you, 10-4 lead is not safe, John. Not safe at all.
11 kills for Tony. She's had great serving, and she's done some great blocking. Miley Golden trying to dig it in the back. Off her hands and out of bounds. Tony Nishida having a phenomenal night so far. She has only made 3 errors. She's hitting .304 with her 11 kills. She also has 21 digs to lead the Wahines. Not bad for a middle blocker. Nice play by Golden to save that one. Well, Franzen gets the kill, but give Miley Golden a lot of credit the way she came up.
You're right, Miley Golden with a great pass that time. Allowed Boyer to get her hands on the ball. Set it up to a swinging Franzen.
I'm watching Charlotte Johansson. A lot of hands on the knees for Johansson up front, the freshman from Sweden. It wears you down after a while. Of course, that's how a lot of people just rest, but it's also a sign of maybe a little bit of tiredness. Big point for Crystal, 11-4.
A difference there, Kenyatta Lovelace with a great looping serve that forced Pacific into a bad pass, then a bad set. Hawaii got a chance with Golden's nice pass. Lovelace comes out, and a better server, Brandy Brooks, comes in. So
interesting
Dave
move.
Shoji going for the jugular, so to speak here. He's getting a very good server in, giving Kenyatta a rest. Good pass, though, by Pacific.
Oh, what a dig, Golden. Keeping it alive to Atwood.
Crystal Atwood coming on strong here in game 5, picks up her 15th kill of the night. Remember, she didn't start tonight. Jenny Wilton did, but Crystal's come on. Apparently, she seems to match up a little bit better. Here's that spin serve by Brandy Brooks again.
Good dig by Boyer. Hawaii getting the ball back now. Atwood again! And I'll tell you, Dave Shoji said Crystal move outside right before the serve, and she came outside and was in good position for that kill.
Oh, what a play that was. Starting with Boyer digging that ball straight up. Franzen going to the middle of the court and side-setting it over to Atwood at about the 8-foot line, and Crystal just went up and took a big swing.
13-4 Hawaii. Off the block, Miley Golden, a great save. Boyer, it's over. Oh! Oh! Oh!
Miley Golden used to be a track star for Waimea High School. She shows why right here. She sprints off the court to keep that ball in play. Look at this. Look at her take off. Good, quick first 3-4 steps. Then Boyer comes back and just pops it over Pacific. Lets it hit the ground.
Brandy Brooks serving for the match, 14-4. Well, Chris McLaughlin, if they made a movie out of this, they'd have to call it True Grit, because that's amazing. Hawaii looked down and out. We saw it earlier this year against UCLA. They lost the game 15-1 and came back to win. Tonight they were down by 2, or rather 2-1. They were down 14-10 in game 4. They could have said, we'll come back tomorrow. We just have to get it together. They got it together in game 4, and they go out in style. What a match.
The most amazing comeback by the Bows. They can't even believe it. Look at Shota. They're all so happy. It's as if they won the national championship. What a battle between these two great volleyball teams.
More from Klum after this. Well, we've chosen Vicky Simonis from Pacific. She led the team in kills with 20 or so and also had over 20 digs. And for Hawaii, Tony Nishida having the best night she's had all season long. She hits 300. She leads the team in dig and a big inspirational leader for the University of Hawaii. GTE Hawaiian Tel is pleased to make a contribution to the General Scholarship Fund of Hawaii in the name of those two players. And there were numerous other great players throughout the evening. Due to the length of tonight's match, KHNL's programming will be running approximately an hour late for the remainder of the evening. Stay tuned now for the best of the worst. That's followed by totally hidden video. And then day 5 for Chris McLaughlin, who's on the respirator right now. He'll be okay, though. He's exhausted as Hawaii wins it in an amazing 5-setter. And you can see the scores right there. This has been another sports presentation of Hawaii's very own KHNL Channel 13.